Halloween Eve, and NASCAR's wildest track is ready to host the biggest pumpkin party on the planet. Pay attention, boys and ghouls. All is not right in the world as one ship is about to sail.
Sit right back and you hear a tale of a silly trip that started from Lake Norman aboard this tiny ship. The mate was an average sailing man, the skipper could not drive. 5 passengers set sail that day, they're lucky to be alive. They're lucky to be alive. The weather started getting rough, the tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the guppy would be lost. The guppy would be lost. The ship set ground on the shore of this uncharted desert isle with Hooligan, the skipper too, the millionaire and his wife, a female driving star, the professor and Mary Ann here on Talladega.
Well, it's often been said that Talladega is a world all its own. Today, it is literally an island. The setup, presented by Polaris, is now a 1-hour tour. It started off so innocent. 2 crew members, 5 passengers on an adventure to NASCAR's biggest track. What could possibly go wrong? Hello, everyone. I'm Mary Ann, and representing the drivers, the natives of this island, we have Ginger. We are 2 of the passengers who set off on the trip from Lake Norman, but we are not the only 2. We will be joined by the professor, the Howells, the millionaire, and his wife. And throughout the next hour, we are going to try to figure out how to get off this island. And as we do, we will also bring you up to speed on the adventures of those natives, the Camping World Truck Series drivers, as they race towards the treasure chest. And navigating it all for us, the skipper and his little buddy.
And Marianne, we're down here in the garage. Hello, Skipper.
And hello there, little buddy.
I'll tell you what, this season it's been like Todd Bodine has sort of been on his own little island when we go racing, and I think all of the other natives are a little bit scared about what might happen today at Talladega because Skipper, he's awfully good.
And I think we all remember who owned Talladega Island a year ago. That would be one Kyle Busch, and what got him to victory lane? Teamwork. You and I and the others on this adventure need to have a little teamwork so we can try and get off this island, Marianne.
Well, I know the professor has his transmitter radio handy. I think we're too far to get any reports from Hawaii, but possibly we'll pick up some radio reports from NASCAR's headquarters down in Daytona. Or we could just take a look back at how we got here, our last race in Martinsville.
Martinsville Speedway, a paperclip-shaped short track nestled in Southern Virginia, hosted race 21 of the Camping World Truck Series.
We're about to get the green flag. It goes in the air. We're underway from Martinsville.
It's a challenging track, high speed for a short track, not a lot of room to stay out of trouble. Very few single truck incidents here at Martinsville.
At Martinsville, sheet metal and emotions go hand in hand.
Problems on race. Jennifer goes around in the 92. Jennifer Joe Cobb in the 10.
Ooh, Kevin, something's wrong with Hardaway. Something's wrong with that truck right now.
Run around here. Get in the wall. Just bring it in here. Let's get the bear bond and get the hammers ready, guys.
Trouble in the middle of the back.
17 of Timothy Peters gets into the wall and debris flying off.
Oh, and now he's into the outside wall.
Watch your gauges. Watch for the oil pressure.
You know, it's getting close, so you know the tempers are up inside the helmets, and hey, we're just minding our time.
And now we have trouble on track. Austin Dillon around.
Austin Dillon backs it up to the turn 2 wall. Oh, and into the back of the 13 is the 7 of Justin Lofton.
I don't know what he was doing. We're far all up here. He drove all up over it.
Hornaday, the leader at the stripe as they crossed, and Hornaday powers him.
Oh, man, we don't need a caution.
Caution comes out now as the leaders come by. Cody Comensi.
After 11 cautions and 1 green-white checkered, it was Ron Hornaday who conquered Martinsville for the first time in his Truck Series career.
Burn it down, Ron. Burn it down.
What a great finish for Ron Hornaday. And he had to work for this win.
This is Martinsville. I won it. I got a grandfather's clock. Woo-hoo.
Bodine is further away from the field than our boat is from the mainland. Jason White moves back into the top 10. Crafton moves up 1. So does last week's top tiki, Ron Hornaday. Hornaday is climbing up the totem pole. Isn't that right, Gilligan?
Absolutely, Marianne. A great run last week for Ron Hornaday. He had never won at Martinsville. He pulled it off, and that's a nice look for you.
Thanks.
Let me ask you about Talladega. This is another track which I'm sure you'd like to add a trophy to your trophy case.
Definite. This is just one of them. I haven't even led a lap here yet, so got a good starting spot. We're going to pick the outside to help Schrader out a little bit. So this is all hats off to all the guys back in the shop, ECR Motors, just all the guys working so hard. For Chevrolet to be on a pole at a Superspeedway, it's pretty awesome. So I got to thank Kevin Delaney for the opportunity, and we're just going to try to stay out of trouble all day. That's what we need to do.
All right, we wish you good luck. And Skipper, you're with a guy who's had a lot of luck at this racetrack.
Gilligan, I think you said it best. Todd Bodine, no doubt about it, on his own island when it comes to the Camping World Truck Series point standings in 2010. 282 your advantage with 4 races to go. So how do you approach a race like Talladega?
Well, we thought about toward the end of the year what our goals were, and the 2 wild cards were Martinsville and Talladega, because you never know what's going to happen. And so we're going to go out here and just race our race, you know, try to stay around the front. The odds of things happening at the front are less than they are happening in the back. So we've got another great Tundra. Valvoline Tundra is awesome. The guys have done a great job. Same truck we've run so well with in the past, and I think we got another truck to race them with. But, you know, it was tough last week with my mother passing, and, of course, Jim Hunter has passed away last night, and he's a great ambassador to support, a great friend of everybody in the garage area. So we're going to miss him, and our condolences go to his family. But on the flip side of that, we got good news. Brendan and Tatum are in the hospital right now, getting ready to have another little gone. So we love you guys.
All right, and Todd Bodine, a driver that has made 10 Speedway starts, all of them resulting in top 5 finishes. Marianne?
All right, thanks, Skipper. And yeah, the Gaughan's having a new little buddy. You know, Martinsville is nicknamed the Paperclip. If the professor had a paperclip, maybe he could help us get off this island. Where is the professor and the house? Well, Marianne, Ginger, we're going to keep hanging out down here. And in the meantime, we have some stories to help distract you from our plight. Don't worry, you will see the professor and the house coming up very soon. Island native Justin Lofton recently took off on an off-road adventure. Hey, wait a minute, if we had that ride, we could get off this island. Also, Ginger may seem like a girl that keeps her head in the clouds. Her alter ego, driver Jennifer Jo Cobb, did just that. And what sort of tricks and treats has this track played on drivers before? We'll revisit some of the best as our 1-hour tour of Talladega Island continues. The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles, now at your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World. Visit Camping World for a sweet deal on pre-owned RVs. They have the largest selection in the country and in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. Patience is a word we're going to hear a lot today. We've heard it all weekend because anything can happen and it can change so much at this track.
Mark Martin was up front. He's been in the back. He's been a lap down. And now he's back in the front again.
There is a lead change. Here goes Todd Bodine to the front.
He will need help because Mark Martin has fallen back now.
No, he's going to need help from NASCAR. He drove under the yellow line to make that pass, and he didn't get the spot back.
This could be huge for Todd Bodine.
30 truck of Todd Bodine has already received the black flag. He will have to make his way down pit road.
You know, we'll talk about it after the race with Wade. We'll just take our penalty and do the best we can, get the best we can out of the day.
Oh, there they go. Mike Wallace into the wall. And Derek Colt gets almost upside down into the wall. The caution is going to come out. The checkered is going to fly. Mark Martin out in front of the field. And Mark Martin will win at Talladega.
Gee whiz, that was awesome. Mark Martin winning this race back in 2006. Welcome back to Talladega Island. I'm Marianne, this is Ginger, and you know, Ginger may seem like sort of a high maintenance girl, but when she's not dressing up, she is looking down, way down, jumping out of an airplane.
Jen's used to going fast. We already got that over 100-mile-an-hour car covered, but this time we're going to take away all engines and roll cages and seatbelts, and we're going to jump out of an airplane.
Today we're going to jump out of an airplane 2.5 miles above the ground. Probably the hardest part of the whole parachute jump is getting to the door of the airplane. If you say no, we're not going to make you jump out of an airplane. Although no sounds a lot like go. We're going to get you geared up in a jumpsuit and a leather helmet with goggles. That one looks pretty good. How does it feel?
Feels good.
Good?
I even feel fashionable.
It's the latest in fall fashion. Get it? Fall fashion?
I'm giving. Oh, I get it!
You average about 1,000 feet every minute, and we're going to be opening the parachute about 5,500 feet. By the time it's fully inflated, we'll be right down to about 4,000 feet. So you got roughly 4 minutes, give or take.
I haven't been nervous at all. I've been pretty excited. It was just before we were about to jump that I started thinking, okay, what in the world? What are we about to do? And I was just like, this is our U.S. Army. How can I not have trust and faith in our U.S. Army? It was just so much fun, and being up there and dancing around, and you know, we did circles. As soon as the chute popped, we stopped doing circles, and I think my stomach kept doing circles, so I came down the rest of the way nauseous. But I thought, when I get on the ground, I just want to lay there a minute. But as soon as I touched ground, all the nauseousness went away, caught my breath, was able to get back up, and it took about 2 minutes, and I said, okay, let's do this again tomorrow.
So much. Wow, Ginger looks good whether she's all glammed up or jumping out of an airplane. That was pretty impressive. But you know, I think us girls, we're tired of getting disrespected by the boys on this island. So Ginger, why don't you go race your way around this track and see if you can find a way to get us off this island. There she goes. We're tired of it. We just feel like we're disrespected. So maybe you boys will finally learn a lesson. Right, little buddy?
Absolutely, Marianne. And you know, the first interview we had today was with Ron Hornaday. He has 47 wins. Then we talked to Todd Bodine, who happens to have 21. And this guy might be on the verge of the first one. Your truck looked awfully good in practice and qualifying. Jason White, can the gunbroker Ford win today?
For sure, Ray. We finished fourth last week at the smallest track at Martinsville. We got a great truck today, qualified second, and I really think we got a shot to get these guys. We got a great truck, and can't wait to get out there.
I believe today could be the day, and the guy who won the first restrictor plate race of this season standing by with the skipper.
And that would be Timothy Peters, led 5 laps en route to victory at Daytona. We know Talladega is different, but how does your truck compare here compared to that season opening race that seemed so long ago?
I felt like it picked up right where we left off at Daytona. Got up with Skinner in the draft, and we were able to go to the front and go back to the back, and it was just amazing how good that truck is. Jeff Hensley and all the guys on this Red Horse Racing Toyota Tundra team do a great job. Wiz Metal Cutting Tools back on board with us, Honda Generators. And, you know, she's black and ready to go on that 3-hour tour, right?
That's pretty good. You've been doing your homework, huh?
Yeah, you look good, man.
Do you think with all this I'd fit behind the wheel today?
You look good. We might have to adjust the wheel a little bit, but we make it work.
Maybe a little. All right, good luck today. Krista?
And the skipper actually lost his little buddy in a wager to Mr. Howell on a wager of turtle races. Speaking of Thurston B. Howell III, we have located him and his beautiful wife, Lovey, and the professor. Hello, boys. Any work on getting us off this island?
Well, Marianne, we have climbed to the highest point we could possibly find here on the island, and I've been working on a few different theories. I think after watching what Ginger actually took and jumped out of a plane, I think if we get high enough up, we could fly off of this plane, and potentially with bamboo and some of the leaves around the area, I think I can make either a plane or at least maybe a glider. What do you think, Mr. Howell?
He's impressive. You're so impressive, Professor.
Well, thank you.
I am so confident in your ability to get us off this island. But before we go, there's a race today, and there's going to be a trophy given away. Just like I'm your trophy, Thurston. Some other boy is going to get a trophy today.
Yeah, and you looked a lot better back then, Lovey. But you're so sweet right now. But anyway, I think I really like that Bodine kid we were talking to just a few moments ago. Sure. I think I might hire him to be our driver.
I want that Bush. I think he would be a good driver.
He'd be good. We'll do both of them.
Okay,
we'll do both of them.
Buy me a team.
I'll buy you 2 teams. 2 teams.
And it's a beautiful thing up here with the Howells because obviously they have the finances that could get us off this island if I can just figure out the right formula to get maybe a vehicle. We do have the finances. If I could just get a vehicle to get us off this island, I think it will work out, Marianne.
Well, I actually want to thank you, Professor, for making me my pedal car out of bamboo and thatched grass. It's still a mystery how we can create that, but we can't get off this island. But we're going to be coming back to the Professor and the Howells, and Lovey, Eunice, Wentworth, Howell, you've never looked so beautiful. You know, if Gilligan had only known which side was starboard, we wouldn't even be in this mess. But you know, the natives are getting restless. They are ready to race because there's a treasure in store, as we said, for whichever driver finishes this race first. We'll be right back.
They see the green flag, and we're underway at Talladega Superspeedway.
These guys are just now getting their groove on. You know, they're feeling comfortable with what they got. And when you start feeling comfortable, that's why this place is dangerous.
Mike Skinner, he too running warm. They're going to pull tape a little bit earlier than what we expected these guys, but you don't want the thing to overheat. The point leader on pit road early at Talladega.
Ron Hornaday, like so many others we've just heard from, he's looking at a water temperature situation.
Rex Sprague right in the exact same spot that he ended the race at Daytona in the lead.
Oh, problems for Jack Sprague. He's going to slide in front of the field. Right into the trioba they go.
A lot of good trucks involved here. Ron Hornaday definitely got a piece of that with a right rear corner.
Travis Quappo's got big damage, and I think that eliminates officially this cat from the championship chase.
The guys behind me had nowhere to go. I hate it for all them guys. I mean, I didn't have enough hands to wave them off because I was trying to save the thing.
Absolutely demoralizing this is for Mike Skinner. He's been black flagged. He has to come down onto pit road. If they,
they're getting together.
Got problems behind him. Mike Wallace gets turned around in the 0-3.
What a huge break from Mike Skinner.
It is a green-white checkered finish for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. It's Crawford on the outside. Bodine, and they go across the start-finish line. Bodine by 14 one-thousandths of a second in front of Crawford.
2007 was the first, but not the last Talladega win for Todd Bodine. You know, this track is the biggest in all of NASCAR, but 2.66 miles. I mean, we should be able to figure out how to get ourselves off this island. Welcome back to Talladega Island and our tiki setup. I'm Mary Ann. You know, we told you at the top of this one-hour tour that Todd Bodine is the top chief on this island, but another native is trying to overtake him for immunity. Owner-driver Kyle Busch is betting all of his coconuts that he can overthrow Germain Racing for that owner's title.
We've got a great owners battle shaping up here in the Camping World Truck Series. Todd Bodine has his nose underneath the 18.
He's not giving up. He's fighting back on the outside. Look at him come off that corner, Michael.
Todd Bodine's going to win at Kentucky. 1 and 2 racing down the backstretch. Bodine has the advantage. They're going to make it 3 wide as they go into 3. Kyle Busch is going to win in New Hampshire.
Kyle Busch and Germain brothers, 39 points apart.
Kyle Busch went into Martinsville 39 points behind. Despite finishing ahead of Todd, he didn't gain any ground as Todd finished right behind him. Gilligan, does Kyle have a trick up his sleeve this holiday weekend?
Well, there's no question about it. Kyle Busch has been scoring a lot of points, and I think he's in that Owners' Championship. But I'm wondering, could you get your remote control truck and show us a way to get off of this Talladega Island? We're trying to get out of here.
I don't know if it'll figure out a way off the island. I might need to go back and get a Traxxas boat for you to get off the island. But the RC truck, it'll find our way to the shore at least. But, you know, we're looking forward to today's race. We got a great Tundra, Traxxas Tundra, and, you know, should be fast. We started a little bit deeper in the field than we would have liked to have qualified. But all in all, you know, I feel like hopefully we can take our Traxxas fun and, you know, get us a win like we did in Chicago.
Our TV show was on from 1964 to 1967. What year were you born?
1985.
Okay, so have you ever seen Gilligan's Island?
I've seen, what is it, Nick at Night? I think I've seen it on there a few times and stuff like that. Probably back when I was a kid yet, you know, when I remember watching all the Nickelodeon shows and everything that were always my favorite.
Yeah, and he's an adult now at age 25. Skipper?
Ricky Carmichael, just a little bit older than Kyle Busch, so you probably remember Gilligan's Island vaguely, right?
A little bit, yeah.
So you know, my idea to get us off the island, since you were so great at Supercross, we set up a nice ramp and you just jump off the thing. What do you think?
I could help you guys out with that, but I will say this: you guys pull it off a lot better than I could. Just as I feel like such a weirdo when I dress up like that, man. I mean, I'm not the best looking guy anyway, so I got my costume on right here. I always call it I always say I'm not putting on my fire suit, I call it my costume, but pretty neat to see all the participation from you guys, and if you guys set up a ramp, I would try to help you off that island.
We would appreciate it greatly, and you know, you've been pretty good in your costume lately. Top 10 in 3 of the last 4 races, so how does that momentum help you here today?
Helps us a lot. I definitely feel like I'm putting the pieces of the puzzle together, and for me, that's what it's all about, and I hope the last 3 weeks have gone so good that it's really coming to fruition. And it just takes time, and to me, I feel like it's starting to happen. We've qualified good the last 3 weeks. We raced good the last 3 weeks. Obviously, this is a crapshoot, but still, it's still good to be up where we're at, and really excited about the next couple races coming up as well.
Ricky Carmichael's nicknamed the GOAT. I feel like the GOAT today for a totally different reason, Marianne.
Well, Skipper, I actually, as you were heading out to the grid, I saw you and Ricky, and I believe one of your utilities dressed up as a Chiquita banana. Fits right in with our tiki hut. Quite an interesting sight. We're getting a lot of strange looks here, and I just don't understand why. But you know, I am confident that the professor and the Howells will help us get off this island. We are going to check in with them still to come here on the setup, our special Halloween edition. What else do we have in store for you? Well, we will take a look at more Talladega moments, including the most recent finishes at this track. Plus, from asphalt smooth as silk to a rough off-road adventure, we are just getting warmed up. Stick around. This is just getting good.
Just sit right back and you hear a tale of a silly trip that started from Lake Norman aboard this tiny ship. The mate was an average sailing man, the skipper could not drive. 5 passengers set sail that day, they're lucky to be alive. They're lucky to be alive. The weather started getting rough, the tiny ship was tossed. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the guppy would be lost. The guppy would be lost. The ship set ground on the shore of this uncharted desert isle. With Hooligan, the skipper too, the millionaire and his wife, a female driving star, the professor and Marianne, here on Talladega.
All of the freaks will be out tonight on Halloween Eve, but you know, freaky things will happen this afternoon when the Truck Series drivers are put to the biggest test of all. Welcome back to Talladega Island. If you are just joining us, welcome. We are stranded here on this island. This is our 1-hour tour. We are desperately trying to get off the island. I'm Marianne. I'm not alone. Ginger had to go jump in her truck because she's about to race, but the professor, the Howells, the millionaire and his wife are here as well, as are the skipper and his little buddy. Skipper.
You know, something we really could use to get off the island, Marianne, is a little experience, so I found someone who may be able to help us in that category. Ken Schrader, despite the fact that he's won here in the Sprint Cup Series and the Nationwide Series, making your first truck start at Talladega, so what's it going to take for the trifecta?
Just stay out of trouble until it's time to get in trouble, then hope you miss the trouble. But it'll be a lot of fun. I've enjoyed watching the races here. I knew I'd get this race because when Kevin was going down driver list, it was him or Elliott or myself, and there's no sense sacrificing the kid here, so I knew I'd get this race.
See, here's my thing. You know, we're all dressed up for Halloween, but I thought you would make a pretty good skipper. Can we see what the hat looks like, Ken?
Yeah, whatever you think.
And believe me, she can do the gray hair. I mean, we can work on that, okay?
Okay.
Feel comfortable?
I feel good.
You got a favorite episode? No. There is no part of 200 miles an hour I want. You got a favorite episode?
I watched them all. Gilligan's Island, MASH, and Cheers were my show. I just watched them all, but my attention span isn't good. I couldn't remember them all.
I understand. Good luck today.
Thank you.
All right, Kenny Schrader going to start up front, and he hopes to finish up there as well.
Skipper, I hope you get your hat back. I'm not giving mine away to this guy, but I'll tell you what he did get this weekend. His best ever qualifying effort. Chris Fontaine rolls off 6th today. Congratulations on that. I know you've got a great truck. How do you balance patience and your previous experience in this kind of racing, Chris?
Well, we're just going to try and stay in line and learn as much as I can. I got to thank everybody at home for working on this truck and everything they did with it. When we get out there, I'm just going to try and follow someone that I know has a lot of experience and see where we end up.
I saw him talking to Todd Bodine just a little bit ago. He's driving a truck called Freak. It's been to victory lane at Daytona 3 different times. Krista?
All right, thanks, Gilligan. You know, we heard there from one of the veterans in the field, Ken Schrader. As he walked by our tiki hut, he said, "You make a great Marianne. You look a heck of a lot better than Mikey." I don't know who Mikey is. We only have Lovey, the professor, and Mr. Hull upstairs, right?
That's right, we do. Hey, let's talk a little bit about, we've only got 4 races remaining. We've got a driver's championship that both of you agree is pretty much in the hands of Todd Bodine, but we've got a great owner's championship building right now with just these 4 races to go, Mikey.
Yeah, Germain Racing leads Kyle Busch Motorsports by 39 points. Phil, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'll give you those 39 points, and I'll take Kyle Busch Motorsports for this owner's championship. Kyle won here a year ago. He's won at Phoenix. He's won at Texas. I believe I can spot you 39 points and win this championship.
Well, Michael, I'm going to have to disagree because months ago I gave Todd Bodine the Drivers' Championship.
That's what husband and wife do.
That's what we do. That's what we do, exactly. Todd Bodine won 6 times at Texas. He's won at Phoenix, and he's won at Homestead. So he's got wins at all the remaining 4 races. He's won here twice. I'm going to stick with Todd Bodine for the Owners' Championship as well as the Drivers' Championship that already wrote his name on the check 2 months ago.
And Mr. Howell, I know you could actually buy the Owners' Championship if you wanted.
I'm going to do that next year.
You got a lot of money. We've got another great battle building here in the Truck Series with just 4 races to go, and that is our Rookie of the Year competition.
Michael talking about the expectations for Justin Lofton. No doubt the Ray Bestis Rookie of the Year contender delivering today.
Justin Lofton in the white truck on the inside, trying to take second away. Austin Dillon putting a few trucks a lap down early on in this race.
Pretty much an Austin Dillon 200 so far here.
Austin Dillon wins at Iowa.
What an outstanding job this young man has done really this entire season. Just may if he can go another half a lap, put win number 2 in the books.
The checkered flag will fly. Austin Dillon wins in Vegas.
Well, Austin Dillon has been extremely strong, as well as Justin Lofton and Jennifer Jo Cobb. Those 3 are top 3 contenders in the Rookie of the Year competition. And Phil, I would have to say that Justin Lofton is probably just a race away from getting into victory lane for that first win.
He really is, and he has really improved the last 9 races. Only 1 finish out of the top 15. I think probably the rookie thing is over, Michael. I think Austin Dillon probably has it locked up, but Justin Lofton is really peaking and really has a bright, bright future in this sport.
Yeah, if Richard Childress Racing thought about what they expected out of Austin Dillon at this point in the season, I don't think they could hope for a whole lot more. 2 wins, 5 poles, 7 top 5s, 14 top 10s. He's 4th in regular points. Got off to a rough start at Daytona, Rick, but in the middle of the season, it looked like he was a championship contender. Riding 4th in the points right now. What a great year for Austin.
Yeah, the Owners' Championship, obviously that's a big story. The Rookie of the Year, a big story. But when you come to either Daytona or Talladega, you always expect the big one. Here's the big one, truck style.
Here, watch him, come on. A lot of good trucks involved.
Oh, we got a crash. He didn't know it was going to come out of left field and knock him into the wall.
Oh, problems right there. Oh, problems.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
He's going to slide in front of the field. Right into the tri-oval they go.
Disaster is lurking straight ahead.
When you come to a racetrack where the trucks will run literally inches apart at nearly 200 miles an hour, one mistake can cause what we just saw.
Yeah, and Rick, you can't predict where it's going to happen. We saw crashes at every point in this track. Going down the back straightaway, we crash. In the turns, everywhere. So, and what happens is with every lap that passes by, the intensity goes up, 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 up. Higher and higher every lap. You got to start making some moves near the end, and when you start making those moves, big crashes sometimes happen.
And you don't even have to make any mistakes to have a big one. You could be going for the same real estate at the same time. Nobody made a mistake, but you end up getting together and then you cause a big mess. Michael, you and I have both been in a lot of those big ones here, unfortunately, but it's just something that happens. You have to put it out of your mind, and sometimes you'll go to the back to try to avoid it, but sometimes the back there's a big one.
Yeah,
so.
if you go to the back and you plan on getting to the front, you got to go through the middle, and that's what the show happens a lot of time.
Well, the big one here at Talladega could be a tsunami that would get us off this island, Ray.
And all 3 of the races that we've run so far at Talladega have been won from trucks that started in the top 10. James Buescher will roll off 9th. I predicted that you might have a shot at the pole. That didn't happen, but how good's your truck for the race?
I think we got a pretty good Chevy. You know, we didn't have a shot at the pole.
but we've struggled a little bit being able to suck up to the guy in front of us on the back bumper. So hopefully after practice we did a few things to make that a little better. And you know, I'm on the inside. The inside normally works pretty good here. Just kind of wait around and get to the end of the race, miss the big ones, and you know, line up behind Ricky. So 2 teammates next to each other should be able to work pretty good together. And you know, I think our Wolfpack Reynolds Chevy's gonna be fast. I just don't know, you know, exactly how close I'll be able to suck up to the guys in front of me. And you know, you got to put yourself in position to be there at the end of the race and to be in position to make a move on the last laps.
All right, we wish James Busher good luck, and next week at Texas we'll get some big announcements about the future of Turner Motorsports. Marianne?
Well, Gilligan, speaking of big, we almost had a way off this island. I understand Gilligan was making maple syrup, and his concoction actually worked as a glue. I thought he can fix our boat, but it was only temporary, so you'll have to stick around.
The speed and intensity is about to pick up.
Colin Brown, 21st, one of the last trucks on the lead lap 2 laps ago. Now he's racing for the lead.
And where did Colin Brown come from? That truck spun sideways just a few laps ago. They're side by side for the lead at Talladega. From the back to the front in less than 3 laps, here is Colin Brown alongside Kyle Busch, racing for the top spot. Nose to nose, Busch has help from Todd Bodine to the inside.
Look at Todd Bodine get up against that 51 and propel him by that 6 truck.
Bodine now shoves Busch back to the lead. White flag is in the air, 1 to go.
And the youngster Colin Brown leads by 1 truck length.
And they're crashing in the back of the pack. It's Kyle Busch, though, at the front of the field by a truck length over Todd Bodine, who was to the inside off of turn 4. Busch is out of safe. Here's Bodine to the outside, racing for the lead and the win in Talladega.
It's Todd Bodine at the line. He'll win again. How about Todd Bodine winning the last 3 Superspeedway races?
That 2008 race was just super duper. You know, at Talladega, everything is super size. Welcome back to the setup. We are on Talladega Island today because we are on a 1-hour tour as the cast of Gilligan's Island. We've been getting a lot of strange looks, especially from Ron Hornaday's crew. I think it's because Hornaday's on the pole, so usually the setup takes place out on the grid, so the pole-sitting truck is behind us. Today, it's all about the Tiki Hut. So Ron Hornaday, there's your shout out. Congratulations. You know, you have a lot of free time when you're stuck on an island. Check out what rookie Justin Lofton does in his free time.
Today we're out here in the Gene Nevada desert. Gonna run the Rockstar Mastercraft Safety Trophy Truck a little bit. Brought the guys out, brought my crew chief and a couple friends out. Got a couple other NASCAR drivers coming out to kind of just show what I used to do and what I do for fun during the winter and during our off season when we're not racing in the Camping World Truck Series.
Ready? I believe so. We're good here.
Oh, baby! That's fun. Wow, look at that one!
It's so amazing when you're coming through those ruts and you look down and you can see 5 or 6 feet into the hole and you're thinking, man, this thing it's like a piece of silk, man.
Oh, yeah.
But I looked over and I saw you doing a lot of work, too.
Yeah. They're a handful to drive, they'll wear you out, but it's cool.
I even have more respect for you now, knowing this is what you did to what you're doing now, because there's no comparison. I mean, it ain't close. There ain't nothing you can compare. What we do now, it's all about smooth, consistent, you know, line. Hell, there ain't no line down through there. I'd have missed that bump. Yeah, right.
I know where he gets all his talent from now.
Oh, yeah.
This is definitely a different world, and it's crazy to think they can go that fast and have the control that he has. So I know where he gets his feel in the race car from. Now I know why I can't get a truck free enough for him half the places we go to, is because he's used to just rolling around on the suspension like these things. It's a different world.
It's crazy. It's not rough. Yeah. Now they're not as rough as you think it was. We got up to 130. Just cruising. That is wild.
Back home, we're in this dry 100-degree heat, and you know, out in the desert getting dirty. You know, this is home to me out in the desert, and it's really cool to have probably some of my closest friends with me, which are my crew, and you know, it's cool to have that bonding experience together.
Well, Justin Lofton has been chasing Austin Dillon in that rookie title. There you see Lofton's numbers. I know one of the Howells said that Austin Dillon has this thing locked up, but I think there's some dissension in that marriage. Gilligan, have you caught up with this rookie?
I found him, Marianne, but I have to tell you, I've got a very, very big new respect for what you used to do and what you're going to do today. Two very different forms of racing. How do they compare and how do they contrast, Justin?
You know, there really isn't too much comparison when you're going across the desert at 100 miles an hour and when you're going across, you know, at Talladega Speedway at almost 200 miles an hour. But, you know, I mean, the things they do have in common is the gas is on the right, and, you know, you don't use very much brakes. So, you know, really, you know, just I'm super excited. I got to take everyone out there to Las Vegas and do that in the Mastercraft Safety Trophy truck. And, you know, really looking forward to getting this number 7 Visit Pit.com Toyota Tundra up front.
Thanks for taking us along. It was a great ride for sure. He may be out of this rookie championship. The other guy that's standing by with the skipper might have it locked up.
Austin Dillon may be a rookie, but I think you're a smart guy. You know why?
Why is that?
Because you were down there hanging around with the two oldest, most experienced guys in the field, Hornaday and Schrader. Is that a little forethought into what we'll see on track today?
I hope so. You know, that's the plan. Just keep those Chevy ECR engines up front, and I guess they got a lot of experience, so I want to surround myself with experience. They're starting on the top, but hopefully we can get linked up early and just stick together in that yellow line. I don't know how many people told me today, stay on that yellow line, but you know, it'll get wild down to the end, and when it comes down to it, we'll just have to move around and do what it takes to go to the front.
Austin Dillon starting third here at Talladega this afternoon.
And I'm standing by over here behind driver intros with another rookie this season. First of all, thanks for playing along with our gag today. Second of all, what are your expectations for today's Mountain Dew 250?
I've said this to you before many years ago. You never know when a surprise win could come. We drafted with Austin Dillon, with Mike Skinner, with Todd Bodine, and stayed with them. So I'm just praying that we are there at the end and we have our best finish of the year. Thanks to Rick Crawford and his guys, we have an awesome truck this week. We bought it from them and they prepared it for us, and Rick said, we're doing this right. I want to show you how to do it right. And so we're just so short-staffed with JJCR, and so it's our guys here today, it's our car, but I thank them, and we're doing this for Bruce, our truck driver, and we're hoping that for the best finish of the year for Bruce. And I want to say hi to my grandpa, who's been ill all year and just a trooper and hanging in there. And this is it. This has been an exciting week, and thanks for taking me on your fateful trip. That was fun.
We had a great time, and Marianne, I can tell you this, I promise you, Ginger is very driven. We hope to watch her drive to the front.
Yeah, that was the big mystery. Everyone was asking us, who is going to be Ginger? There's your answer. It was driver Jennifer Jo Cobb. You know, there was a rumor that there was a voodoo spell on our island and that Gilligan had turned into a chimpanzee. Fret not. But, you know, I've always thought it might be fun to work with primates. Oh, wait, I do that every single week. As we go to break, we asked our drivers, what was your first job?
My grandfather owns a auto body repair facility in Tampa, Florida, so I usually had the grand job of painting all the walls back white, and it made me a better person, though.
My first job was motocross racing. When I was 16 years old, I got signed my first professional contract, got paid to do it, so that was it. I wouldn't really call that a job, though.
It was just sweeping the floor, cleaning up the lathes and all the other precision machines that they have. They're a metalworks company.
Working at a transmission shop. When I was 14 years old, I was ordering transmissions and doing that for a long time.
The actual first job that I ever got paid was I was a weed picker. A local farmer in the area used to hire a bunch of us kids out of school there to go pick weeds for him, and we'd work from like 6 in the morning till noon.
I got to weed eat behind the race shop and worked with the groundskeeper at RCR for a summer, and they put me on this big hill, gave me a weed eater, and I had to weed eat the whole hill.
Burger King.
I worked at Burger King for 3 months, and then I was a gymnastics teacher for 3 months, and then I worked at Western Auto long enough to get a discount for my tires. And then I was a valet parker for like 2-3 years.
Working for my dad at the automotive shop. I'm glad I became a race car driver because I was not fit to become the mechanic working on a street car. I absolutely hated it. And that was always something that my dad joked with me about. He said, you better remember every horrible job you've had to do every time you put on that helmet to go out there to race, and remember how lucky you are, and you better drive your butt off because you don't want to go back and do this because you're not going to feed your family doing it the way you do.
The setup is presented by Polaris, the hardest working, smoothest riding off-road vehicles now at your local dealer. And brought to you in part by freecreditscore.com. Get your score. When Talladega falls...
Next week, the Camping World Truck Series makes its second trip of the season to the Lone Star State to once again take on the Texas Motor Speedway. Earlier this year, our points leader became a 6-time winner in Texas.
The birdie of Todd Bodine.
Will he continue to dominate and make it lucky number 7? Or will somebody else be wearing the cowboy hat? Chris Devoda hosts the setup starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.
That's next week, but you know crazy things can happen around here. Race day gets everything started. No telling how many gremlins will be lurking around this track. And speaking of gremlins, well, we've got to go racing at Talladega. Last year, Gilligan for one driver. This ride was spectacular.
Eric Almirola rolls off 5th today. You've pushed Kyle Busch to a victory on the Superspeedways. What do you do different today to make sure you're in the front?
Win. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is just trying to be in front when it comes down to the end, and hopefully I'm the pushy, not the pusher, and get this red top auto auction, collector car auction in victory lane. It'd be really cool to do that for Billy Ballou. I finished 2nd last year, so we'll try and improve that by 1 spot.
Okay, and happy birthday to Eric's sister. She turns 18 today.
Well, it's pretty clear to see we love working on this broadcast, the most fun broadcast in all of NASCAR. We have to thank all of our bosses, everyone at Speed, all of you out there for basically letting us get away with this every year. We have thoroughly enjoyed it. Ginger came back. I know you have to go race, but do you have a favorite Gilligan moment?
My favorite Gilligan moment is when lightning struck Gilligan and he disappeared. That's no offense, Ray Dunlap, but that was cool.
That was, and Gilligan episodes, there's so many.
I won a putting contest, and Mr. Howe had to give me $3,000. That was my favorite episode. How about you, Professor?
I think my favorite episode was when the meteor landed on the island, and I was able to figure out that if we wore lead-lined suits, everyone would be okay. You know, I've actually been working, the years that we've been on the island, I've been working to figure out if we could improve this transistor radio, and I think I've got something that might be close.
I thought this one was pretty good. We were able to listen to the ball games.
I was working on this for the last couple years, and it's a pad that you touch, and you're able to contact people from another area on the world, in this same world. So I think I'm going to do it. I call it my pad. What do you think?
I think it could catch on. How about you, Mr. Howell?
My favorite episode was when Marianne woke up and thought she was Ginger. You know, she went from the country girl to the glamorous beauty queen. That was my favorite episode. How about you, Lovey?
I like the one when I woke up over at Marianne and Ginger's hut after a crazy night of drinking pina coladas and margaritas. It was special.
Lovey, that wasn't a dream. That really happened.
It got out of control, didn't it?
A little bit. How about you, Skipper?
Remember, Professor, when you had the plane that got us off the island, we were in the air, we were home free. One little thing went wrong. My little buddy accidentally parachuted out, and here we are, still on the island.
I can't do anything right.
Well, we have to thank also all the folks we work with who were actually responsible for setting up our tiki hut. This is fantastic, but we really want to get off this island, and what's that I hear?
It's a helicopter. I hear it.
That might be our ticket off the island.
Hey, over here.
Come get us.
Hey,
Come get us.
we're in victory lane.
Oh no, we're stuck here, and the Mountain Dew 250 Live on Speed starts right now.
The trucks come to the biggest track on the circuit for one of the biggest shows of the year. Welcome to the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series Mountain Dew 250, presented on Speed by Dodge. Hello everyone, Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you, and everyone woke up this morning in a somber mood because we heard the news of the passing of Jim Hunter, who was the Vice President of Corporate Communications for NASCAR. And here was a man who touched so many lives in his time in this sport, and he really sparred so many stories for every person that's ever met him. Phil, what was your favorite story with Jim Hunter?
Well, when I first started my NASCAR career, it was right here at Talladega, and Jim Hunter was working here. And I got involved in a bad accident, had to be sent to the hospital, and he came by the hospital and he said, "Don't worry about a thing. We will take care of everything." And he made sure that my family was very comforted in the fact that he was on top of it. He was going to handle it. And there's so many stories just like that from Jim Hunter.
Yeah, how about you, Mikey?
I just remember him sitting behind the NASCAR trailer. I lost my dad in 2000, and Jim Hunter and my father were twins. I mean, they looked at things just alike. They were comforting, supporting, loving people. Someone, when you saw him, you know you're going to get a good feeling in your heart. One thing he would have said about how I was dressed earlier, I don't think I'd have done that, Mike. That would have been his comment about that.
Well, in Jim Hunter, you used great words there, supporting, comforting. He was always an inspiration to everyone and really enjoyed the truck broadcast, and he told us that on a regular basis. So he would want us to continue on with today's show, and we're going to do that by going trackside for today's pre-race ceremonies.
Please rise and remove your hats as the Alabama Army National Guard present our nation's colors. Ladies and gentlemen, the NASCAR family lost a true giant last night with the passing of NASCAR Vice President of Corporate Communication, Jim Hunter. Jim's career in motorsports spanned portions of 6 decades. The former public relations director here at Talladega, Hunter worked in both PR and executive roles with Darlington Raceway and with NASCAR. We ask that you join us in a moment of silence in remembrance of Jim Hunter. Please remain standing as Alabama Raceway Ministries volunteer Brian Gay offers today's invocation.
Father, we want to thank you for this beautiful day that we have for racing, Lord. God, we thank you for the troops that we have around the world and the way they serve so faithfully. We pray that you'll protect them. Father, we pray for the drivers, the crews, and everyone in attendance here that you'll touch their hearts. God, that you'll give us a safe day of racing today. And Father, we pray this in the powerful name, in the name that's above every name, in the name in whom salvation can be found alone, in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Performing today's national anthem, please welcome United States Air Force Senior Non-Commissioned Officers Academy Flight Instructors, Senior Master Sergeant Shane Werai, Senior Master Sergeant Scott Davish, and Master Sergeant Roger Alvish.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light. What so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
36 drivers will be climbing into their trucks, and they will come alive at a racetrack where inches separate bumpers and doors. It is a mental game. Who will win it today at Talladega? Stay with us right here on Speed. The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on Speed by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World. Visit Camping World for a sweet deal on pre-owned RVs. They have the largest selection in the country. And by Silver Star Ultra Headlights. See farther, see wider, see better. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Let's take a look at our Polaris front row. Ron Hornaday grabbed the pole for the first time here at Talladega after coming off that win at Martinsville. And Jason White was the second quickest in qualifying. Now, Ron Hornaday has chosen the outside line, and I think he was told to choose the outside line because that means he will have Ken Schrader right behind him at the drop of the green flag. Hello once again, Rick Allen, Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip with you. Now, at the beginning of the year, everyone circles Talladega as the big unknown of the season. And now we're here. What is that unknown that we've got to worry about?
How will these guys go about winning this race? Will they charge to the front from the beginning, or will they hang out and lay back and try to attack later? Ron Hornaday's never led a lap here at Talladega. I know he wants to get that accomplished right here as soon as they start this race. But other than that, and the fact that Kyle Busch and Todd Bodine and a couple of these guys will try to spend every lap at the front, I'm not certain what kind of strategy it'll take to win.
You know, and Michael, yesterday we may have seen 6, 8 trucks at the same time on the racetrack. There's going to be 36 now. It's going to be a hornet's nest. They're going to be 3 wide every inch around this racetrack. So there's some uncertainty there is what these trucks are going to do when they have 2 trucks on the inside of them, 1 truck on the outside, 3 in front of them, 6 in back of them. It's going to be unbelievable. It's always such a great show here at Talladega.
We've had a veteran of Martin win the first race here. Todd Bodine won a couple times. And then last year, Kyle Busch. Is there a favorite in this field?
I like Kenny Schrader in that truck of Harvick's. I think that'll be a great story if he's able to pull it off. Of course, Kyle Busch will be tough. And Todd Bodine's trying to prove a point. He wants to win here at Talladega again.
I think we have a new winner. Jason White gets to victory lane today.
That's a great call. Let's get the engines fired. We go for the command.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing for Fred's Hometown Discount Store, Dave Mueller, as he delivers the most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
All right, Q, have Mike crank when you're ready there. Sir, I just hooked this pin up to me. Fired up, Austin. All right, Tim, fire in the hole.
Still got you, lab.
Sounds good. 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2.
An absolutely beautiful day here in Talladega, Alabama. Trucks coming to life. We're getting ready for the Mountain Dew 250 here on Speed. Welcome back to the Mountain Dew 250 presented on Speed by Dodge. The trucks are rolling off pit lane, about to take on this huge racetrack. A gorgeous day here in Talladega, Alabama. 73 degrees, a slight breeze, sunny skies, and a crowd starting to fill in those grandstands. Our starting grid will roll across the bottom of the screen. Again, Hornaday and Jason White making up row number 1. We want to take a look at our ZMAX track description of this behemoth.
Incredible racetrack here. You see 2.66 miles 33-degree banking in the corner. And Michael, the apron of the racetrack is banked more than a lot of the racetracks we go to. Wide open speeds here.
When they throw the green flag, though, Phil, the apron is out of bounds. You can't go down there to pass people, so they'll have to keep it up on the track. But there's plenty of room on the track. We could see these trucks 5 wide around this racetrack. It's amazing what you're getting ready to witness.
Will there be a strategy if we take a look at our mother's race analysis?
I think the only strategy is whether you run up front like you were talking about, Michael, or you want to run in the back till late in the race here. You see the pit window 30 to 35 laps. This race is 94 laps, so it just about cuts it into thirds.
Yeah, when you get in that pit window, you want to pit as soon as you can and be done with it. Tires do not give you a performance advantage here. You want that track position when it gets late in the race. That's your goal, to be up front near the end. But how you get there, who knows? You can do it by laying back or running up front all day long, like you said, Phil.
Here on Speed, we always love to take a look at young drivers coming up through the ranks. And today on our Speed Spotlight, we look at first-time starters in the Camping World Truck Series. Ray.
I want to roll off with number 00. This is Dominic Casola. He's about 23. He's from New Jersey. His daytime job is being general manager at Tri-County Speedway. It's making his very first start in the Camping World Truck Series. Lots of experience in the ARCA division, but today they have a bit of a problem. A corded right front tire, they'll have to pit before 5 laps. They're hoping for an early caution. If that caution comes out, he'll be able to stay on the lead lap. Adam?
Ray, if you're a race car driver from Alabama, there is only one place you would like to make your debut, right here at Talladega. Grant Enfinger living that dream when it comes to NASCAR here this afternoon. He's no stranger to this racetrack. He was here in ARCA twice, both times finishing inside the top 10. He nearly won here in the spring. He hopes some experience today could lead to bigger and better things, perhaps more truck rides in 2011. Krista?
Thanks, Adam. I'm joining you guys on pit road today, and I wanted to talk about Craig Gose. He has experience at this track in the ARCA series. In fact, he finished 4th here in April and finished 2nd overall in the ARCA championship, making his NASCAR, not just truck series, his entire NASCAR debut today. 29 years old. Keep your eye on the number 46, driven by Craig Gose.
And we've got a few cameras that we're going to be riding along with different drivers. One of those will be Jeffrey Earnhardt. He will start 24th in his Chevrolet today.
We're also going to ride along on the Toyota onboard with Kyle Busch. 5 wins already this year, trying to go back-to-back here at Talladega. He will start from the 18th position in that Toyota.
You guys want to ride with a rookie? How about Austin Dillon starting from the third spot in that Bass Pro Shops Tractor Boat Chevy? He's one in the Midwest, Iowa, out west in Vegas. Can he get one in the South here in Talladega? We'll find out and see. We'll be along for the ride.
Obviously, Austin Dillon with a great starting position, but how about on the front row? Jason White will start on the inside of Ron Hornaday, and he'll carry one of our cameras as he starts 2nd today. He might be the underdog that gets to victory lane. The Mountain Dew 250 presented on Speed by Dodge is coming up. Green flag will fly next. Tomorrow we're there for the Chasers' scariest race of the season, Talladega. Kevin Harvick, Casey Kane, Jamie McMurray, and Jimmy Johnson will join us live. NASCAR race day built by the Home Depot live from Talladega tomorrow at 10 Eastern, only on Speed. Welcome back. Look at the high banks here at Talladega. Unbelievable. What a great shot.
Look at Camping World on the infield.
Yeah,
that's what it is.
There's a few of those, isn't there?
What a gorgeous infield. We go back to the infield and pit road for our final thoughts, right?
Well, thank you, Rick. Of course, there are 36 drivers starting the race today, and all of them have a shot to win whenever you come to a track like Talladega. But if I had to bet today, I'm going to bet on either the 30 or the 18. Let's take it to numbers between Rowdy and the Onion. These two guys since 2007 have gone at it on the super speedways. Todd Bodine probably getting the best of that with 4 victories, but Rowdy has been right there in great competition. I think it's going to be one of these two guys that the other 34 are going to have to beat. Krista?
Ray, I'm so glad you talked about numbers because no number is more beloved at any track than the number 3 at Talladega. Dale Earnhardt Sr. scored 9 Cup wins and 1 nationwide wins driving the number 3. But for the first time, a number 3 is on the track in the Truck Series. Austin Dillon has a lot of fans in the stands today. Adam?
Krista, one of the keys to success when you come to a place like Daytona or here at Talladega, stay out of trouble. And it's not totally uncommon to see a driver drop in the back and just ride to avoid the big one, as we call it in the NASCAR world. Johnny Sauter qualified 8th here yesterday. Many believe he could be a player at the end of this race, but prior to the event, his NASCAR official in his pit area radioed up to the tower and said Johnny is elected to start at the back of the field. No unapproved changes, no problems with the truck. He simply wants to stay out of trouble. I just talked to his crew chief, Joe Shear Jr. I said, when do you push the go button? When's the green light on to go to the front? He said, we're going to ride till 20 to go. Phil, Mikey, you've been here many times. What do you think of that strategy?
Well, I did the opening, and I said you could win it either way. I don't know what to do, and that's what these crews are faced with. These teams are faced with. Do you charge all day long, or do you make your odds of missing the crash better by laying back? The problem with that, Phil, is that the action gets more intense as the race goes along. So you wait to 20 to go and try to march to the front. You're going to be in the middle of a hornet's nest. I'd like to be out in front of all that stuff with 20 to go.
Yeah, Michael, right here is why we've added an extra lap. Norm Benning had a problem on the pace lap here, and his truck will not move. They're going to have to hook it up to the record, so they've given us an extra pace lap. You know, Johnny Sauter obviously has decided to be one of those guys that wants to go to the back, and sometimes, you know, you can start the race if you start up front and you get in trouble before you can get to the back. So he just eliminated all that possibility, went to the back straight away.
Most people just discreetly fade. You know, they throw the green flag, they make a move or two, it doesn't work, and then they say, I think I'll go hang out. Johnny and his team, they just said, I think it's better back there for us. But listen, if you're watching at home, that's what makes this place so fun and so interesting. You got to figure out when to go and what to do with that strategy.
And he can still win this race. There's no question that Johnny Sauter is capable of winning this race no matter where he starts.
You know, Norm Benning can still start this race even though he's got problems and they've got him hooked to the wrecker right now. Because he rolled off of pit road and was on the racetrack ready for the start, he could still start. We've seen him out of the truck already though, so they've got problems. Now we want to go back down to Ray with another story developing before the green flag.
Well, Rick, I think it's important to realize how much goes on in the pits in each and every race, and we'll only have a couple of pit stops today, but these guys will be important. This is Todd Bodine's Valvoline Tundra pit right here, but here's a big advantage for him. Nobody is pitted right in this pit stall exactly in front of him. Lots of other trucks are going to have someone in front and in the rear. An open spot for Bodine and a couple other drivers today could be a big advantage. Adam?
And Ray, when you look at Ron Hornaday's racing resume, pretty amazing. Entering 2010, there were 9 different tracks where Hornaday was yet to record a victory in Camping World Truck Series competition. Well, he crossed one off the list last week at Martinsville, picked up that grandfather clock. I was talking to him about it yesterday here in the garage, and he quickly reminded me Talladega, another where he had not won. You look at a list of tracks, Hornaday well on his way to crossing another off today. He starts on the pole, elects the outside lane, and look who's behind him, Mr. Experience, Ken Schrader. Should be fun to watch the two veterans at one of the great racetracks in NASCAR here this afternoon.
You see the trucks all starting to stack up as the pace car will make a hard left turn onto pit road now. The lights are off, meaning that we're about to go green. The field all behind Ron Hornaday and Jason White, making up row number 1. Row 2, Austin Dillon and Ken Schrader. We have a mix of youth and experience at the front of this field. Will that make a big difference as we get ready for the green flag? The field making their way through the tri-oval. Now they can see the flag stand. The green flag goes in the air. We're underway at Talladega.
Let's see how quick Kenny Schrader gets up behind his teammate and starts trying to push him.
It was Ron Hornaday's choice to choose the outside line so that he would have his teammate behind him to give him that assistance. Early on, it's Jason White who's moved out to the front on the bottom of the racetrack with Austin Dillon behind him.
That didn't work out so great for Ron and Kenny, did it?
Not really. They're going to fall back maybe outside of the top 5.
See if they can get a run around the top and Hornaday get to that start-finish line first. He's never led here at Talladega. Certainly wants to get that accomplished. Figure starting on the pole, he'd have a chance to do that on lap 1.
In this ultra-smooth racetrack, though, those guys in the bottom, they're going to run wide open. There's no bumps. There's no handling involved.
And look, 3 wide as they come through the tri-oval on lap number 1.
That's a huge surprise. 3 wide. Look at Ron Hornaday in the middle going backwards.
Now that feels sometimes when you make that decision, you say, well, that start didn't go right. I didn't get going at all. I think I might just fade here for a little bit and ride for a few laps. That's so Ron Hornaday-esque. I don't know that that'll happen, but he certainly has that to think about now.
Max Pappas was just in front of Hornaday as they were making their way through the middle of the field. Again, Jason White out in front. He's got Austin Dillon behind him. Eric Almirola, Ricky Carmichael, and James Busher scored top 5.
How about Kyle Busch out there pushing Matt Crafton already up into the 6th position? Kyle started back in 19th.
Kyle Busch making his way to the front. Again, defending race winner from right here at this track. And a year ago, it was Eric Almirola that pushed him to victory lane. 4 wide this time as they come through the tri-oval.
Kyle Busch has found him a friendly bumper to push on there. He's just bumping Matt Crafton right along. They're up beside Austin Dillon for that 2nd spot. Looks like they're going to make a move for the lead.
That's one way to make that outside groove work. Just push somebody up there.
Uh-oh. Somebody made it 3 wide. Is that Hornaday to the outside of Busch?
How about Hornaday coming back now?
Big run on the outside for Ron Hornaday. Can he make it work? He's going to need some help up there.
He has some right now. Max Pappas. No, that's Todd Bodine right behind Ron Hornaday.
Todd Bodine trying to push Ron Hornaday. Those 2 trucks lose a little bit of the momentum they had, and you see that inside line make a surge once again.
Watch this yellow truck with Kyle Busch tucked right up under the back of him. They're going to take it 3 wide in the tri-oval. Hornaday's going to go up there and try to block, but I think they're going too fast for Hornaday to block.
3 wide once again across the stripe here at Talladega, entering turn number 1. This time they stay 3 wide through 1 and 2.
Well, Hornaday and Todd Bodine get a good run through the middle. Now Todd Bodine has Max Pappas behind him.
Jason White hugging that double yellow line. You can't go below it, and he doesn't want anyone to get on the inside of him. Ray Dunlap.
Rick, my radio going crazy down on this end of pit road with drivers saying, boy, I wish we'd have put tape on the windshield. Coming off turn 4, apparently there's a second, 2, or maybe even 3 seconds of complete blindness for these drivers. The sun very low in the fall here, and they're having a hard time seeing coming off that corner.
A lot of times you're looking in your rearview mirror, aren't you?
Oh, by the way, Ron Hornaday looks like he may get another spot here. He just got by James Busher.
Again, Todd Bodine just behind him, trying to push him toward the front. We saw a truck move a little bit to the inside.
You know, that blind spot Ray's alluding to, that's something you know how you can deal with it. You know, Phil, you spend a lot of your time driving your truck looking in the rearview mirror, trying to make sure you keep guys behind you like you're supposed to. So just a couple of seconds or 2 of a blind spot, it's aggravating, but it's not going to cause you to have a crash. You know where everybody was 1 second. You just assume they're going to be there the next one, although you've covered about a football field in that 1 second.
Right now, Jason White, all he has to do is look out his windshield and concentrate on keeping his left sides next to that yellow line. He knows that nobody can make a move to the inside, and then if somebody makes a move to the outside, then the spotter's going to tell him somebody's up there.
Well, and so far, no one's elected to make that move. Austin Dillon can make it, though. He has that option. If he chooses to whip to the outside and grab that lead, then he can make that move. He has enough momentum to get up beside Jason White. It's just a matter of whether he wants to take a chance. You know, right now, life's pretty good for the first 2 or 3. They're just cruising along, logging laps right on the bottom of the racetrack, as safe as they can possibly be. When it gets a little crazy is when that second line, that outside lane, gets to you and starts mixing it up.
And you mentioned take a chance. You're really taking a chance if you get out of line, hoping someone behind you will go with you to help you get by.
Yeah, if Austin pulled out there, no matter what kind of run he had, if he pulled out beside Jason White and no one went with him, he would fall like a sack of rocks. Everybody on that inside line would stream by him, and because he would lose all of his momentum, chances are the outside line would split him and put him in the middle.
Justin Lofton on the outside, and that number 7 trying to get a run, see if he can make something happen up high, but he's going to need help, and now he's going to start dropping back as the 2 lines to the left of him are working through 1 and 2 just a bit quicker.
But at some point, some of these drivers are going to have to make some moves because they have to know what works and what doesn't work.
Adam Alexander, what's going on with Eric Almirola?
He's very quiet on the radio, said he's just riding, feels very good about his race truck. They've been coaching him from the spotter stand on what the outside lane is doing. As you can see, Eric is that 3rd truck in line on the bottom, and they've been telling him when the outside trucks are moving closer to him in case he wants to jump out of line and get a push, try to get up to the front. Eric said there's no way the outside lane is the way to go. They can get up close to the front, and then it's like they hit a wall aerodynamically. We'll see if their thought plays out as Hornaday starts to get a bit of a rally on the outside.
Ricky Carmichael, truck currently running fourth after starting seventh. You heard him talk in the pre-race show about finally feeling like the pieces of the puzzle are being put together, coming off back-to-back top 10s. He has raced here before, twice in the ARCA Series, once in the Truck Series. He is feeling confidence and momentum. The words of advice on the radio, keep that truck tucked in there tight.
Let me try to put this in perspective. Right now, Ryan Sieg has scored 27th, but he's only 3.5 seconds behind our race leader. That's how big of a pack and how fast they're going around this racetrack.
Well, the top 20 right now are separated by barely over a second. See, Mike Skinner, Mike had to go to the back of the pack for unapproved adjustments after qualifying, and he's made his way into that lead pack. A couple times he peeked out and made it 3 wide.
It looks as though we're starting to see some uniformity on that outside line. We've got Hornaday out front, Todd Bodine back behind him, Max Pappas behind him. And here we see Kyle Busch way back, maybe almost losing the draft behind this group.
No, they haven't anywhere near lost the draft, Rick, but they've just decided to hang out. That's what it looks like when you're just goofing off. They're not goofing off, they're strategizing. That's what they're planning on doing to try to make sure that if this 3-wide mess up ahead of them doesn't work, they can avoid the crash. But yet they're close enough to where they can suck right up if they get all uniform tightened up and want to. And they just don't want to catch up right now.
And remember, really early on, we saw Kyle Busch push Matt Crafton towards the lead. He wanted to see if he could do that. He saw that he could, then he backed off. Now, right now, he's running way back in about the 23rd position.
That time across the stripe, Hornaday scored second. That outside line is coming.
Remember, Ron Hornaday's never led here at Talladega.
Hey, guys, the fastest 3 trucks on the track, you know, Rick, you talked about almost losing the draft. The fastest 3 trucks on the track that time by ran 24th, 25th, and 26th. That's where they were scored. But they were behind that big draft, and they catch up as they come to the line.
Push to the lead. Todd Bodine shoves Ron Hornaday out front, and down to the double yellow line goes Hornaday. He's never led a lap at Talladega. That's about to change as he comes out of turn number 4.
Hey, that's no gimme for him to lead this lap. He has a long way to go to get to the start-finish line.
I wouldn't bet on him leading the last one if he was leading right there, would you, Phil?
No,
but this one, I think he's pretty safe. Todd pushed him to the front, and Todd's going to hang behind him.
Hornaday out front. He will lead a lap at Talladega.
The fastest truck that time by was running in the 26th spot. That's what's so crazy about Talladega.
3 wide back there, about in the 10th, 11th spot. Hornaday out in front of this field, and now we're starting to see a lot of guys move to the bottom of the track that had been running in that second line.
And remember, we saw drafting speed during practice yesterday that were 12 miles an hour faster than what these trucks qualified on the pole with.
3 wide here, Max Pappas in the middle. You see Eric Almirola in the 51 just in front. One of the things that Series Director Wayne Auten continues to tell these drivers is that your bumpers don't line up. The back bumper on these trucks does not match the front bumper, and so do not try to bump draft on this racetrack. So Hornaday, after starting on the pole, he dropped back all the way, almost to 10th. Jason White was out in front for numerous laps, but now Hornaday has flexed his muscles. He is back in front of the field at Talladega. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Mountain Dew 250, presented on Speed by Dodge. The field making their way down the backstretch, this extremely long backstretch here at Talladega and into 3 and 4.
You know, these guys all lined up on the bottom. They're leading the race, but you know how the guy leading got to the front was on the outside. So they were just using a little patience there, riding in line. Finally, Kenny Schrader broke formation and said, I saw Hornaday do this. His truck's just like mine. That's my teammate. I'm going to drive up around all these people.
And initially, nobody went with him, and we couldn't understand that. Now he's got some help behind, about 4 or 5 trucks behind him.
Folks on pit road have some information for us. Let's go first to Ray.
Been listening to the scanner, Rick, and Jimmy Kitchens is the spotter for Todd Bodine high atop of this Talladega Superspeedway. He came on after talking to Rick Corelli and said Hornaday wants to know if you liked it up there in the top lane. He's willing to go back up there. Todd says wherever he goes, I'll go, at least for right now. Adam?
Isn't it hard to believe these 2 old veterans who have NASCAR championships under their belt are so agreeable at a place like Talladega? But that's exactly right, Ray. Ron Hornaday on the radio, very agreeable to what Todd Bodine would like to do. In fact, he was encouraging Todd to give him some guidance in relation to what lane they wanted to run. And so far, it's working out. Krista, Hornaday first, and right behind him, Bodine.
Further back, an update on that 1888 tandem. We 18 pushing the 88. Well, now Matt Crafton said, hey, I'd like to try that myself. Be able to suck up and see how he does. But he said, Kyle just got on the radio and said, let's do it. Well, the 88 was running just a bit hot, so they have to wait to try it out.
And there you see the 18 running back in the field. He scored 19th the last time by. There's Matt Crafton. Crafton not quite as well at 23rd.
Yeah, Matt had to lay off a little bit. You see him duck his nose out. Jennifer Joe Cobb jumped in that hole in between he and the 13 of Johnny Sauter. He's got to cool that engine down a little bit. They'll probably take some tape off when they come to pit road the first time.
Meanwhile, update on the old veteran Schrader. He just keeps making a little bit of progress at a time. He's inched up to just about in the top 5 with help behind him from David Starr. Several trucks in his tire tracks.
It looked like it took him about 2 laps to gain that 1 truck length.
Yeah.
From side by side with 6th to side by side with 5th.
We have 3 distinct packs now on the racetrack. We've got a big pack out in front right now being led by Hornaday. And then you got to go back quite a ways before you get to Craig Gose and some of the other drivers. There you see them. They're a couple football fields back from the lead pack. And then there's actually a 3rd pack that's even further back behind them.
Right, they were a pack of 1.
And then they've grown.
They've spread out, and that's interesting. These guys back here have totally lost the draft. The second group there, Kyle Busch and those guys, I think they've still sniffing a little bit of that draft. And if they get tight enough and start pushing each other, they'll really sniff that draft and be able to pull back up to those guys in the front.
Because they're running very comparable speeds back there in their pack as fast as the trucks running up in the front pack are.
Now we've just completed our 17th lap. We're on lap number 18 of 94. We talked about the pit window being probably right around lap 30. So we're past halfway of a fuel run here. And one of the things that you've always got to think about is if you stay green at a racetrack like Talladega, going from 200 miles an hour down to 55 miles an hour on pit road is an extremely difficult thing to do.
Yeah, and you know, Phil, these guys could look at getting 2 tires here early in the going, maybe even just get 4 now and never get any tires again. They have many different strategies they can use in order to close that gap. You lose the draft a little bit and you make a green flag pit stop, you might need to mix up your strategy so that you can catch back up.
Butch Hilton, the crew chief on our leader Ron Hornaday's truck, told us that if he has to fill it full of fuel, it takes so long to do that, they'll probably get 4. Anytime they go with a partial fuel load, depending on when the cautions come out, he said it's probably going to be 2 tires.
And maybe even none at the end. That's how good these trucks handle here at Talladega.
Saw a little bit of an opening for Ken Schrader. He ducked down to the bottom of the racetrack where that opening was, but now has come back out to that second groove to see if he can get some help, maybe make that second line run a little bit closer to the front. We saw it happen earlier with Ron Hornaday. How about Narain Karthikeyan in the 60 down on the bottom of the racetrack, just behind the 6 of Jeffrey Earnhardt.
What a great job by Narain. Came to this series first time ever in any sort of a stock car vehicle. Started it at Martinsville back in March or April, and here he is running the biggest rate and fastest racetrack we have and doing a terrific job.
Jeffrey Earnhardt cruising along inside that top 10. I know it feels good for these fans to see that black number 3 truck up there in the top 5, and then an Earnhardt running inside the top 10. Dale's last win 10 years ago here at Talladega in this race tomorrow. So what a big win that was, charging from 14th or 18th to the win in just 2 or 3 laps at the end. Another one of the wonderful things that Dale Earnhardt accomplished in his career, and now Jeffrey's riding along the top 10.
Yeah, a guy named Earnhardt has won here 17 times. Dale Sr. 11 times, Dale Jr. 6. It's been very impressive for that family. You see Max Pappas make the hard move just in front of Chris Fontaine.
Chris has been fun to watch this weekend. Every practice session, he was right up toward the front, qualified in the 6th spot. What a great weekend it's been for Chris. This truck has been fast. He could force his way to the front at the end of this thing.
He tied his career best his last time out, which was at Chicago, by finishing 13th. There's no question he has a potential top 10 truck here.
The top groove's beginning to move. We're seeing momentum now.
You know, and if I'm Schrader, I'm liking that, Phil. He knows he's got a truck that he can lead a group. He's on the outside. He's going to take a group to the front. He finally made it up to the 4th spot. We run a few laps. He was from 6th to 5th. Now, after a couple more laps, he's running beside the 4th place truck.
It took him. Oh, watch. We got a slow truck up high.
Let's stay up high, slow truck.
We'll see if at 48.
And he did.
Ryan Silas will stay up top, off the pace. But you see Ken Schrader, again, side drafting right now with Austin Dillon.
And this is great information Schrader's collecting right now. He knows late in the going, he has a truck that can go to the top side and lead a group to the front.
Mario Goslin in the 12 on pit road. What's going on, Krista?
Rick, this was not a scheduled stop, or at least an earlier stop than scheduled. They had the hood up. Mario telling his crew, check the coil wires. I don't know what's wrong. Ray?
Krista, I wanted to give you a quick ad on Chris Fontaine. Michael was talking about what a great job they did in qualifying. His truck just a little bit tight off the corner, driving number 84 today. But this particular race truck has had so much success when we talk about super speedway racing. In 2001, Joe Ruttman won at Daytona in this very truck. Then Robert Presley went to victory lane at Daytona, and Bobby Hamilton in 2005. The truck is called Freak. It's run more super speedway races than any other chassis, and Chris Fontaine's hoping to hang on for a good finish.
Oh, trouble. And we got problems. Jeffrey Earnhardt slides. He had contact, slides in front of a few trucks.
Takes them in the wall with him.
He got Justin Lofton with him in the 7. They go into the wall, and the caution flag comes out on lap 23.
They caught up to a pack that was not running on the lead, that was actually getting lapped. And it really created a mess when you have the disparity in speed going on.
Yeah, they were really mixed up in the tri-oval. It just took them all the way down to turn 1.
Take it to the garage. Take it to the garage. God dang it.
Disappointment.
And Mark Rett, that's Justin Lofton's crew chiefs, and can't even believe he's in this situation right here.
Justin Lofton won the ARCA race here last year. We see Jeffrey Earnhardt pulling his steering wheel off of that
There's
truck.
nothing you could have done. Your radiator's knocked out of the thing, so if you just want to get towed
Great
back,
job doing it.
it.
Just a terrific job.
And it looked like there was some contact there for Jeffrey Earnhardt. He got loose down on the bottom, just wasn't able to correct it and stay in the right line. We take a look from up above.
You can see him lapping some trucks there. Earnhardt goes into a hole. Oh man, he and Max just made some contact. And you see Justin Lofton absolutely nowhere to go.
Looked like Max forced him down into the 93 of Mike Garvey. There's another view.
You can see this is where they get in trouble, exiting the tri-oval. Jeffrey's going through a hole there that's plenty big for him to get through right at this moment, but then right there, the hole closes.
His truck was wiggling a little bit, and
looked like
he and Max came together.
Didn't look like he was 100% comfortable going up in that hole, but he was up in there, and then
sometimes you can get sucked into that hole by the draft,
and also sucked around when you get inside of it. Move your truck all over the place. Check out the job the 53 truck here of Hobgood does. Pauses, waits, watches, and then calmly goes to the bottom.
Yeah, headed right toward it. If he'd have locked the brakes up, he'd have run right into him. Good job by Justin.
If Justin had done anything other than just be patient, he would have been crashed, but he does a wonderful job.
I think Grant Enfinger was very fortunate too when the 6 turned around sideways, almost backed into him. Grant was able to get by on the outside.
The thing that Justin in this black truck does that's even more impressive, he can't see anything. I mean, the smoke is just blinding him right here at this moment, but yet he's calm.
We're riding along now with the 6 of Jeffrey Earnhardt.
See if we can see what he's... Off the gas a little bit on it. Oh, wow. Just needed a little more room, Phil.
Yeah, they just squeezed him in on him there from both ends. He didn't have a whole lot of room between Max on the outside and the 93 of Mike Garvey on the inside.
Unfortunate incident for not only Jeffrey Earnhardt, but also Justin Lofton. He's already out of his truck, surveying the damage, and there is a lot of it on the front end of that number 7 Toyota Tundra.
It's going to be an opportune time for a lot of these guys to come to pit road. Pit road this time was closed, but I'm sure when it opens, they'll all be on it.
On the back of the record, the 6 of Jeffrey Earnhardt. A short day for that young man. Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. We just heard on the radio Austin Dillon saying, guys, it's out of fuel. Adam, what's going on?
It was another 2 or 3 laps before they were planning to come to pit road under green, and Danny Stockman, his crew chief, has walked him through every step of this. They elected to come on down pit road because obviously if you stay out here, you were dead. Now, by coming down pit road early, they will lose a ton of track position, but the good news is they can get their service and plenty of time to get back through the field. They pull a tear off the windshield. The good news is the truck is fired, and it appears Austin Dillon will survive this scare under caution here at Talladega.
Austin Dillon actually came down pit road before it opened, and he will have to restart this race from the back of the pack. But looks like the 4 of Ricky Carmichael may be out of fuel on the racetrack.
81 of David Starr looks like he's also running out of fuel.
Remember, we talked about these guys being able to go about 30 laps, but they had all the pace laps and qualifying as well, so they would have to come in earlier on that first stop.
Remember, we extended the caution before the race because of Norm Benning's truck stalling, so that threw him off a little bit. But David Starr is going to get a push here from a teammate, which is very opportune for David, but it was also opportune for Austin where he ran out. He came off turn 4 and he said, y'all, I'm out of gas.
They said, pit,
pit. There's a pit road right there. It was closed, but that doesn't matter. You got to get gas.
Just tacks onto the back. As Adam mentioned, yeah, you're going to lose track position, but as I mentioned earlier, 25th position was only 3.5 seconds behind our race leader. So the pack stays together, and we're seeing a pack now make their way onto pit road. Krista.
Ricky Carmichael was not out of fuel. This was right around the time their scheduled stop. They were just playing it safe. They're going 1 round up on the right rear jack bolt. Ricky said, don't free it up too much. They were going to go a round and a half. Ray?
230 is the water temperature for Todd Bodine. They're going to try to clean the front of that grill. They don't want to pull any tape off it. This will be a 4-tire stop for the Valvoline Tundra. They're going to get gas in there, clean the windshield, and he'll be away. Adam?
Windshield, that's his driver, Ron Hornaday, the race leader. What does he need? He said, nothing, brother. I'm just riding. He's going to get 4 tires, fuel. They will pull a tear off the windshield, wipe the grill, and the team all serve. Hornaday first on pit road.
You're there. You're ahead of him.
Hornaday Bodine. Skinner makes up a couple spots coming off pit road. Jason White will drop one. James Busher a couple spots as well. Ken Schrader drops a few. Side by side and 3 wide at Talladega already, and we're not even halfway. Stay with us.
It's Camping World's destination recreation.
To say that Camping World has extreme buys right now would be one of the biggest understatements of the year. You know, a lot of people didn't realize that they don't just sell brand new equipment at Camping World. They have previously owned units. And on the lot behind me, you can see they've got every shape and every size that you might possibly want. Now, here's the great deal. In the next 10 days, if you come to Camping World looking for a pre-owned unit, tell them the Race sent you and say, I want the Racer's discount. They're going to save you up to 50% over original costs.
Camping World Destination Recreation Sweepstakes is back and better than ever. More prizes and more chances to win. To enter and see the complete prize descriptions and the official rules, visit campingworld.com/racing.
You know, I wouldn't mind being stranded on an island in one of those.
Hey, I ask you a question.
It would be great.
Camping World matched their demographic with NASCAR racing? And what about Aaron's? They match theirs perfectly too. They're giving away stuff left and right here at the racetrack.
Going to give Mike Garvey a lucky dog.
Giving him a chance to make something out of his race.
One of the
and he didn't even have to have credit to get it.
One of the trucks involved in our lone caution, Justin Lofton, one of the drivers of that truck, is with Chris Devoda.
Yeah, that's right. They had talked about the oil temperature was going up, so they were hoping a caution would come out to maybe pull some tape, but you didn't want it to come out that way.
No, it's real unfortunate for everyone over on the number 7 visitpit.com Toyota Tundra. We had a really good truck. I was just kind of sitting there playing around, and I'd jump out of the pack, fall back, move back up, and you know, real proud of all the guys, all the hard work they put into it. And it's just real unfortunate that it had to end this way.
I know in our pre-race show we went off-road racing with Justin Lofton. He did not want to be off of this road, Talladega Superspeedway.
Take a look at this accident again. Once.
Watch Narain Karthikeyan. He's going to get by just now, right in front of Justin Lofton. Justin gets caught up, but Narain just narrowly avoiding that incident.
And again, all the smoke. It's so difficult for Justin Lofton to get through there. Right on line.
Well, Rick, when we began those pit stops, we saw the number 81 of David Starr coasting down the backstretch. Obviously, they were out of fuel. He got an assist to get into the pit area, but when he came in, it got a little bit worse. They had no fuel pressure, so they had to go underneath the hood to turn the engine over, and they finally got that thing fired up, but there was a problem on the back. One of the supports that holds the spoiler up had been broken, so they had to go to work and fix that thing. You've got to maintain a minimum of 65 degrees on that rear spoiler, and NASCAR would not let them return to the track without all of those braces. There you see the brace on the right that was loose. They got that fixed, and the Zachary Tundra is back out to the racetrack. Adam?
And still some question marks in regard to Austin Dillon and that fuel mileage situation. They were anticipating coming down pit road under green at lap 28, and they ran out of fuel under caution 3 laps earlier. Butch Hilton, crew chief for Ron Hornaday, just came down. He and Danny Stockman, the crew chief for Austin Dillon, discussing the situation. They are pretty confident now in the 3 camp that they figured it out, but that's a big time concern, because if you run out of fuel at the wrong place at Talladega, your day is done, unless, like Austin Dillon, you get a caution at the right time and you're able to come down pit road. And with there being no track position for that team, you can anticipate they will come down and top off the fuel tank here.
Get the field all in line. They're still making sure the track is clean before they send them back under the green flag. A beautiful crowd on hand here today. Monday night on Speed, join Steve Burns as he breaks down all the action right here at Talladega and get you fired up for race number 8 of the Sprint Cup Chase in Texas. There's a full hour of NASCAR race of Monday night, 7 Eastern, only on Speed. So the field still under caution here at Talladega as they're continuing to clean up the racetrack in turns 1 and 2, and they're trying to put some speed zorb down on some of the fluid that was put on the racetrack, and they're having a hard time doing it because there's a lot of banking here at this racetrack. Again, Austin Dillon scored out front. Hornaday, Bodine, Skinner, White, James Busher, Ricky Carmichael, Kenny Schrader's up in the top 10, Max Pappas, and Grant Enfinger also in your top 10 at Talladega. 30 laps complete. It's the playoffs NASCAR style. Don't miss the semifinal showdown in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. The Cobalt Tools 500 Sunday, November 14th at Phoenix International Raceway. For tickets starting at $25, call 866-408-RACE or visit phoenixraceway.com. So the field's still under caution here from Talladega, and obviously they've got to clean the racetrack before we get back underway.
And we had 9 trucks come back in the pits to top off, which right now we've completed 31 of the 94 laps, Michael. And we know the pit window is somewhere around 32, 33 laps. So I really like the strategy of those trucks that came back in to top off. Now, theoretically, they should be able to make this race on one more stop. And some of the guys that pitted on lap number 26, like the majority of the field, maybe not.
That's right. What about these trucks? They're dirty, Phil. They put down Justin Lofton busted his oil cooler, excuse me, and they had to put an extreme amount of speedies dry down. And look, those trucks' windshields have that dust and dirt all over them. We talked about vision being a little bit of a problem off turn 4. It might be a bit of a problem all the way around now.
That's a good view right there. That's our camera lens. Not even able hardly to clean that camera lens. You can see the dust on the front of the hood on Kyle Busch's Toyota.
What about these guys that laid back? They missed a bullet. They dodged a bullet by laying back. Kyle and those guys were 2 or 3 seconds behind the crash of Jeffrey Earnhardt. So early on, laying back worked out for some.
Hornaday and Bodine side by side through the trial. Bodine on the outside, Hornaday on the inside. Green flag back in the air.
We may want to make mention. Remember, Austin Dillon ran out of fuel, came in the pits early, and when we went away to commercial, said he was leading. NASCAR actually will not give him credit for leading, even though his truck was out front.
Look at that dust.
Yeah, topped back off again, and they run through the dust that was they tried to blow it off the racetrack. A couple guys running up there in that higher groove.
It'll just take a lap or 2, and that will be cleaned off.
The pack, at least lead lap pack, is 23 trucks strong.
Here comes Kyle and Eric around the top.
I think there's a pack that was formed there between those 2 trucks.
Remember last fall when we finished this race? Those 2 were pushing each other as well.
I talked to Richie Waters, crew chief on that winning truck for Kyle Busch last year, and the crew chief on Eric Almirola's number 51, and he said they definitely have a plan to work together with Kyle for this race.
Max Pappas jumped out in front of the 18 and 51, and now we see the 51 dropping back, or the 18 dropping back. The 51's making its way still up to the front.
Yeah, that didn't work out for Max. He thought he would get up in front of that strong run that those 2 had coming, but everybody just split Max. Looks like Skinner's going to try to make a bid for the lead.
Still out front is the 33 of Ron Hornaday. And now Hornaday goes to the high side to get in front of Skinner.
I think he recognized that the 5 of Mike Skinner had a run on him. He said, hey, I'm either going to be down here and the outside lines are going to go, or let me jump up here with him.
The outside line is going right now. Hornaday in front of Skinner. Todd Bodine running third. Jason White is fourth.
How about Craig Ghost right now running up in the 5th spot?
They drop back down to the bottom of the racetrack. Now Kyle Busch tucks in behind Craig Ghost. You talked about it earlier, Michael. Mental games being played virtually every lap, every second of every lap. Where do you go? Who do you follow? Who do you get in front of?
Yeah, Kyle's out there racing for that Truck Series Owners Championship. You know, we've never seen Kyle lay back before, but we've also never seen him race. Whoa, 3 wide. You see that big run?
Well, that was close there. Skinner is starting to fall back a bit.
We've also never seen Kyle race for a points title in the trucks. He's just always been all about a win. Maybe we're seeing a little bit of a different Kyle Busch today because of that Owners Championship. We know how important it is to him.
I have a feeling when we get down towards the end of this race, he will be a country herd from. There's Austin Dillon making a move to get down to the inside, trying to go underneath the 9 of Max Pappas. Here's Austin's on board right here.
Oh, don't come over there, Max. Looked like Max thought about trying to grab that bottom, and Austin was there.
Gonna try to get by the 5 of Mike Skinner. Austin already back up into the top 10. Remember, restarted this race from the tail end.
Mike Skinner was on the outside line when it was moving, and that then slowed down because Ron Hornaday jumped out in front of him, and now Skinner has dropped all the way back, and now he's side by side with the 2 of Ken Schrader.
Did you see that crazy move David Starr made? Was he hit a little bit? You think that was some buck traffic? Let's see if we can take a look at it and see. Watch him run along the back straightaway, and then just all of a sudden right there, he just dove to the outside. Looked like he did it by choice.
But it looked like the 5 of Mike Skinner threw the anchor out. Watch Mike Skinner. Watch how slow he's going to get right there compared to the rest of the trucks.
Man,
Max
that was
Pappas
close.
was on his back bumper as well.
Max was on his back bumper, and when Starr made that move, I bet you Max said, what'd I just do?
What just happened?
I don't think he did anything. I think that's what David decided to do because Skinner had lost all his momentum.
Adam Alexander, what's going on with our race leader?
Well, Rick, I have a question for the 2 guys there with you that understand what it's like to feel the rush of Talladega. Mikey, Phil, when you were leading a race at this place, how much did you look out the rearview mirror?
You have to be able to drive your car or your truck without looking out the windshield, basically. If you're leading, it's all about blocking. Being able to go around the track, even at Daytona, it's the same way. When I won there, my car handled so good, I could just watch that rear view mirror. When you're out front, it's the most important tool you have.
You know, at most racetracks, you glance in the rearview mirror to see where the other competitors are. At this racetrack, you glance out the windshield to see where you are because you're watching the mirror the entire time, Adam.
Well, and Phil, one thing I wanted to point out is that Ron Hornaday really has been using his rearview mirror quite a bit, and the one thing he likes to see back there, Todd Bodine. He feels like these 2 trucks work really well together. He has talked more about Bodine in the early portion of this race than he has himself. The 33 and 30 hooked up, no doubt about it.
You know, it's really important for Ron Hornaday to be conscious of where Todd Bodine is. Right now, they're up front, and that's great. If they get back in the pack and they start working together, Ron Hornaday's spotter, Rick Corelli, needs to let him know if he clears and makes a pass, and Todd Bodine also too. They can't leave him hung out to dry.
One of the words we use so often with drivers, especially at racetracks like this, is maturity. And how about the maturity of Jason White and Craig Ghost, following behind obviously 2 of the best in this series, as well as one of the best, the Superspeedways, and Todd Bodine.
Yeah, and throw Chris Fontaine in there too. Chris right now still runs up in the 6th position, right behind Kyle Busch in the 18 truck.
Again, single file line.
For those 3 trucks, things couldn't be going any better in the early going. We're past a third of the way into this thing, and all 3 of those guys up in the top 7. That's pretty impressive.
Ron Hornaday is leading the pack around Talladega.
Somebody's broke back there.
Smoke on the racetrack. A smoker back there in the back of this lead pack. Falling back, it's the 89 of Mike Harmon, it looks like.
No caution as of yet. The pack just went by the start-finish line. Yeah. We stay green.
He's going to slide off onto pit road, and so a good thing for Harmon and the field. So we're going to take a quick 60-second break from Talladega as the field's making their way down the backstretch here at the biggest racetrack on the circuit. The Mountain Dew 250 presented on Speed by Dodge. We'll return in a moment. Welcome back. The Mountain Dew 250 presented on Speed by Dodge continues from Talladega Superspeedway. Again, the fourth from the end as far as races go. It's just the fifth race here at Talladega for the Camping World Truck Series, and twice Todd Bodine has gone to victory lane. This time, though, it's Ron Hornaday pacing the field out in front. Bodine running second. Jason White, Craig Ghost, and Kyle Busch are your top five.
They had a little three-wide action in the back of that group. Everything's calm at the front, but they can't sort it out in the back. Hey, Ray, I saw something wild on the back straightaway between Starr and Skinner. What are they saying down there?
Well, I was listening to the radio, Mikey, and that was a deal they were trying to set up. They had talked it over with the spotters, and Skinner was intentionally dragging the brake to slow down for that outside line to catch up to see if it would go. But apparently Starr just caught him way, way too quickly. You'll watch here and see how quickly David Starr just jets to the outside, and that put Max Pappas right on the bumper of that X-side Toyota Tundra. So Mike Skinner was not very happy about that. He said, boy, I was trying to help the guy out here, and Starr went around him. But now those guys are right back in position on the racetrack, and the 81 is behind the 5, and they're going to try to set this up one more time.
Ray, if that was a plan, it wasn't a good one. I'll tell you that.
When that happened, if David Starr had not have driven out from around Mike Skinner, if he would have slammed on the brakes to stay behind Mike Skinner, he would definitely have gotten run over by the 9 of Max Pappas.
Yeah, and if he'd have taken all that momentum he had and put it on Skinner's tailgate, we'd be under caution right now, too.
Out in front again, a reminder, Hornaday had never led a lap here at this racetrack.
He likes it.
He changed that.
We've only raced here 4 times previously, but this is a racetrack now that I'm thinking Hornaday might enjoy out in front of Todd Bodine.
What about the past couple of weeks for Ron? We were at the littlest track last week. He brings home a grandfather clock, first win there. Never led a lap here at Talladega. Now he's led the most laps today.
Remember, that was the first race with crew chief Butch Hilton back on top of the pit box last week at Martinsville.
Seeing 2 distinct lines trying to work their way around this racetrack.
And Kenny Schrader in the middle.
Ken Schrader in the middle attacks to the back of that inside line now. Narain Karthikeyan in the 60 just in front of him.
Then we've got a group of about 3 trucks that are just hovering around in the back, making sure these guys keep it all sanitary. And if they don't, they've given themselves enough room to miss the crash.
Matt Crafton right there leads that pack. There's his teammate Johnny Sauter, the 13 truck, and Eric Almirola in the 51.
In practice yesterday, we saw Eric Almirola and Kyle Busch going nose to tail around this racetrack. And when those 2 trucks hooked up, it looked as though they were unbeatable. And now Eric Almirola drops back. He's in that little pack of 3 that you see coming through the turn. But he's at the back of that pack, so he hasn't really put the bumper to anyone to help out yet. He's just biding his time, it looks as though.
Did you see those speeds?
Yeah.
That those 3 trucks ran last time, 195 miles an hour?
They're using all that air off the trucks ahead of them just to pull up through there. Now they're going to have to make a decision, Phil. How far do we want to go? How many laps do we want to run 195? You think we ought to slow her down and let them and keep that gap, or are we ready to make a run at it? We're not even halfway yet, so these guys need to exercise patience. Don't get all carried away because you're going so fast and drive into a position you don't want to be in. Right now, things are calm for this lead pack. So I bet you Matt Crafton rolls off the gas a little bit here before long and just doesn't grab all that momentum.
He didn't do it that lap because they were still the 3 fastest trucks out on the racetrack that lap.
Running a little higher line around the racetrack, the 88, the 13, and the 51.
That air is just amazing, isn't it, Michael? I mean, those trucks, we talk about how big a hole those trucks punch in the air. When you have all those trucks, probably, 15, 20 trucks punching that huge hole, but those guys back there, it's like they have 50 extra horsepower.
Well, and I'll just tell you this, Ken Schrader has run further than anyone. Every time I look up, he's the one on the outside. So he's got a different groove he's running. It's just above the guys on the bottom.
Krista, Craig Ghost has got to be getting some very valuable experience running in the 4th spot right now.
Absolutely. We talked about him in our speed spotlight and how this was the first time he's ever been in a truck. He has experience at this track. He will be one of our full-time drivers in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series next year. He's very quiet on the radio. When he did come in for his pit stop back on lap 25, he said, feels good, not too much to complain about. As I said, very quiet. I just wonder if he's looking in his rearview mirror thinking, wow, that's Kyle Busch pushing me, I'm in good shape, or wow, that's Kyle Busch behind me, I'm in trouble, right?
Just to let you know, Todd Bodine just came on the radio and he said, pass along some information to Rick Corelli and tell Ron Hornaday that I'm smelling rear end grease in the truck here. He said, I don't see anything on the tailgate of his truck right now, but I'm definitely getting an odor, so they may have a problem with that lead truck for Ron Hornaday.
And Ray, they just asked Hornaday on the radio, you don't smell anything, do you? Hornaday said he did not. We'll continue to monitor the situation with the race leader, but as of now, they don't believe they're the problem.
Hey, Phil, you know, we talked about Matt Kraft and them deciding they better slow down. They did that. They did. They got too close to that pack. They didn't like what they saw, and you could see they've fallen all the way back.
So we're running right now about 3 seconds behind our leader.
What about that battle at the back of that lead pack? Jennifer Jo Cobb and Grant Enfinger, both in the lead draft, both running inside the top 15. What a great run for Jennifer Jo Cobb.
Was that Ginger?
That's Ginger.
Was Ginger.
Was Ginger.
Now
it's Jennifer Jo Cobb.
Race car driver Jennifer Jo Cobb. We saw the top three. They separated themselves from the pack for just a moment by about 2 to 3 truck lengths, and now that pack is closed back in. While they ride side by side, we can still see that pack of 3 behind them with Matt Crafton, Johnny Sauter, and Eric Almirola. Those guys are keeping up pace, but keeping their distance. Shooting down the back stretch. Which strategy will work today? Ron Hornaday, Todd Bodine, Jason White, Craig Ghost, and Chris Fontaine running up front. Or is it the trucks that will run in the back to avoid the potential big one at Talladega? Coverage of the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series on Speed is brought to you in high definition by Funai. Funai, fun and innovative. That was the exit to pit road light that the camera just ran into there. And sometimes when you're looking at the trucks around the racetrack, you don't pay attention to what's around you.
What about my man Schrader? I talked about him spending more time than anyone up in that outside groove. We went to break, he was last. Now with a big push from Kyle Busch, looks like he's going to try to grab the lead.
Got up side by side with a second place truck. Now he's going to drive by Todd Bodine and drive by Hornaday.
Drives by his teammate. That is Kenny Schrader in the 2, trying to lead a lap here at Talladega in the Camping World Truck Series.
Now will he jump down in front of his teammate or stay on the outside in front of Kyle Busch, the guy that pushed him to the lead?
One thing that the 30 of Todd Bodine didn't want to see is the 18 leading a lap here at Talladega.
Well, Ken Schrader led that one.
Kenny Schrader gets.
There he goes. He's going to do what I figured he might do, right? Go down and help out his teammate. Or do you go with the one that brought you? Do you dance with the one that brought you? Or do you be a good corporate partner?
Right now he's back out on that outside line, and here comes the inside line, moving once again. A little wiggle there as Todd Bodine got underneath the 33. Again, the bumpers don't line up.
Schrader was wiggling on the outside when Kyle Busch was pushing him.
They were dancing.
Something in common between the 2 trucks running up front. Hornaday has led on 39 of the 43 trucks that he has competed on, all but 4. Iowa, he's raced there twice, North Wilkesboro twice, Pocono, and Saugus. Well, Saugus is the last racetrack where Ken Schrader won. Ray Dunlap.
Guys, I think Schrader's staying up on the top intentionally to hold that 18 back there. But I can tell you this, when Ron Hornaday and the 2 and that group decides to come to pit road, Todd Bodine's going to run one more lap. He's going to stay out there on the racetrack in hopes of getting those bonus points. So when you see the 33 peel off for pit road, watch for the 30 to go right to the outside and pass him.
That's the problem right now we have when some of these guys start deciding to pit. It's going to be a scramble to try to get around those guys.
You know, we see this thing calm down after a restart, after 10, 15 laps after a restart, it calms down. But then when you get ready to make another pit stop, action picks up again. Everybody's trying to get the best position they can get, so when they come to pit road, they can exit with all the track position. That's when action starts to get crazy. We saw a caution flag right when they were getting ready to pit last time.
When you come onto pit road, you've got to have a partner because you can't make it around this racetrack on your own. So you've got to come in with the right group of people to make your way back out onto the track and get up front.
And remember, these tight drafts, these trucks will run 10, 12, 14 miles an hour faster than you will by yourself. So it won't take too many laps running by yourself to get way behind.
And is Kevin Harvick happy right now, or is he just on the edge of his seat? Both his trucks running side by side, 1-2. That feels good, but I bet he's nervous as well.
He may be holding his breath right now. Adam Alexander.
And his crew's working very hard in the area of communication. Rick, you talked about you have to have a partner on track. You have to have one on pit road too. So you have one when you return to the racing surface. Schrader's team and Hornaday's team talking a lot on pit road about when they will come and how they will get there together. So when they leave pit road, they can draft on the track once they return.
Guys, I'm telling you, I don't think we're more
at
than
that
a lap or two. Yeah, we're at a lap or two away from some of these trucks that pitted back on lap number 26 from coming down pit road.
And you want to talk about a mess, run out of gas in the middle of all this pack, and then we'll have a big crash.
Almost like throwing a parachute out the back of your truck. Guys that we're talking about that pitted on lap 26, Hornaday, Bodine, Schrader, White, Skinner. Yes, by the way, those are our top 5 trucks on the track. Any lap now, we're thinking within a lap or two, they will have to make their way onto pit road.
Here come some of them now, Rick.
Ricky Carmichael is leading a truck onto pit road. He tailed off from the back.
Probably his teammate James Busher it is, both out of the Turner Motorsports stable.
4 tires, fuel,
Chris Devoto.
That was the radio right there. Doug Randolph, crew chief for Ricky Carmichael, telling him 4 tires and fuel. Remember, they pitted back on lap 27, so this is their scheduled stop.
Watch for a trashy adjustment on the back of the Wolfpack Reynolds Chevrolet. They're going to go down on the track bar. We got right side tires on now. It'll be a 4-tire stop. Fuel going in that Chevrolet for James Busher. One more lap. We expect Mike Skinner to come in. The next lap after that, watch for the 33. Todd Bodine going to gamble. He'll stay out for 2 more laps.
That's a pretty big gamble.
That's a huge gamble.
Do not want to run out of fuel here at Talladega.
Here these trucks go. James Busher, Ricky Carmichael, and here comes the pack.
Pit, Ron, pit.
There you hear the words.
There's a truck that's run out of gas.
Joe Cobb slow on the racetrack. Looks as though they tried to stretch it too far, and it didn't work for Jennifer Jo Cobb.
And she'll be lucky, Phil, to make it back to the pit.
Yeah, she's just now into turn number 3, trying to wiggle it to get some gas into the pickup, but I'm not sure she's going to make it all the way back around.
Yeah, and if a couple guys can stretch this for a lap or two, they might pin some of our winning contending trucks a lap down here.
Remember, Hornaday's been told to come in this time. Who else is going to come with him?
Now he's got to be signaling right now to Todd Bodine. I'm going. I'm coming off of turn 4. I'm going to be taking the hard left. So we'll see how this transition works for him. Oh, and it's
contact.
A lot of contact right there. We saw damage to the back of the 33 truck as well as the front of the 30. Bodine slowing on the racetrack now.
Jason White got in the back of Todd Bodine. We see it happen so many times.
Man, how come we can't choreograph that? We know we're pitting. Why can't we keep them running into each other?
Adam Alexander.
And Ron Hornaday just said he was in the wrong gear. Perhaps that's one of the reasons we saw the miscue out front. Not sure if that had anything to do with it or not. But Hornaday is on pit road. This is a scheduled stop at lap 59. The last time they came in and made a stop under caution at lap 26. It will be 4 tires because it will take so long to put in the fuel. There's no need to go with 2 tires only. Left side tires going on now. And Hornaday's service will be complete. And I believe Ken Schrader will be leaving pit road with him.
More
we're going to have problems coming onto pit road. Max Pappas sliding sideways. He gets into the inside wall.
2 laps in a row, Michael. We can't manage to come down pit road.
I just don't understand it.
Fun and hit the wall.
A lot of damage to the front of the 9 truck of Max Pappas. His day is done. Fluid running out from underneath that. Jennifer Jo Cobb ran out of fuel. She couldn't get back to pit road. And we're under caution again, Ray.
Look at
Damage
that.
on the left front of Todd Bodines and also on the right rear. The big question here will be, did he make it onto pit road and in the commitment cone before the yellow was out? We saw that crash for Max Pappas. They knew the caution was coming out, but they were going to run out of fuel, so they knew they would have to pit. Bear bond going on the front of this thing. Will the aerodynamics be okay for him to be competitive in the rest of this race? They continue to work on that left front. Couple of extra guys over the wall here. Looks like the damage on the right rear is not a big problem. They've got that fender under control. A lot of damage for Max Pappas, though, as he rolls down pit road right behind Todd Bodine here. We'll have to check and find out if Bodine made it onto pit road legally or not.
Let's take a look at what just happened. And this is what we were talking about. Coming onto pit road, going 200 miles an hour down to 55. Hornaday trying to get off of the track and on pit road.
Yeah, Todd was not going to pit. Didn't look like was going to go to the pits with him and pulled out. And Jason White drove right into the back of him. Now you see the 46 gets stuck in the middle, but he's determined to pit. Somehow he got up off the bottom. He's got to pit and just turns across Max.
You know, the problem, Max had plenty of room down there.
Just make a left.
Turn left. The double yellow line is racing. It doesn't say you can't go below the double yellow line to make a pit stop, because you have to go below it.
You see Jennifer Joe's not a part of the problem. That's way before they get to coming off pit road. It looked like Max, I don't know where he was going, but it didn't work because of the combination of where Craig Ghost was going. That's what's so frustrating to sit here and watch. That's the why. You've got more room to operate down there than you do anywhere on the whole circuit, but yet we can't work out making it to pit road without a problem. And like you said, Phil, it happens every year. And this time it's happened every lap we've tried to pit.
Sure has. You know, Jason White has damage. He ran in the back of Todd Bodine. Todd has damage. Ray reported front and rear. I believe I would put some material instead of that barrier bound on the front of that 30 truck of Todd Bodine.
Yeah, I believe Mike and those guys need to get some aluminum out and put a patch underneath that barrier bond so that front can keep, you know, it's got to stand up to 200 miles an hour worth of wind if he gets out in front.
And there's still a lot of laps to go. 33 laps remaining in this race, which is a full fuel run at this racetrack. And oh, by the way, Chris Fontaine in that 84, he's out front.
I believe I might duck over onto
that apron.
On the apron, maybe.
Well, remember, Chris Fontaine is one of the guys that pitted on lap number 31, so he had 5 extra laps of fuel than all the cars that pitted, or trucks that pitted on lap number 26.
Fontaine, Eric Almirola, Grafton, Sauter, Bush.
James Busher now is a lap down. Remember, he made his pit stop. He and Ricky Carmichael came out behind the lead pack. James Busher, I think, will get the Aaron's lucky dog. Ricky Carmichael would be stuck 1 lap down now with a good truck.
Well, and plus the chance that I'm sure he'll get the wave around. He'll be in front of all the other trucks. So those guys that pitted early that got a lap down will get the wave around. Krista.
Kyle Busch, one of those trucks that came in on lap 31 to top off, but he had a lucky break because they had been planning to come in on lap 59. Kyle didn't know when lap 59 occurred. Had he come in, he would have been stuck before that caution came out. He said, Eric Phillips, even though I didn't know what lap it was, good job. 4 tires and fuel for the 18.
Chris Fontaine comes in as the leader, and this may be the gamble you were talking about, Michael. It looks like they're going to do right side tires only on this number 84. They've got a bit of a hang up on the right side for some sort of a problem there, so they'll continue to work on that, but doing right side tires only to try to keep some of this great track position that they've gained after this caution. Adam?
And you saw Eric Almirola on pit road, middle of your screen, a 4-tire stop for him, and it appeared there were some struggles on the right side. He's going to lose some track position as he exits, but Richie Waters, his crew chief, said this, as you see Fontaine leaving pit road first. He said, we cannot afford to ride now to driver Eric Almirola. There's not enough time left. Stay out front. We need the track position.
Topping it off with fuel, that is for Ron Hornaday, and working on that right side.
He's working on the right side right now. You heard him, Adam, he shut the engine off to save some of that fuel.
Yeah, well, they knew they had to come back down from a fuel mileage standpoint, so they wanted to go ahead and take an opportunity to work on the right rear. So Hornaday is back in. They've topped off the fuel tank, and they are getting that right rear repaired. A tough break for the pole sitter in a way, but he's going to have plenty of time to rally back to the front.
So they're working on the right rear. That's where Todd Bodine got into it, and really a can opener to the left front of his truck where that peeled off part of the front end of that Toyota Tundra. Take another look. These two are out front, 1 and 2. Hornaday peels off. Well, Bodine doesn't slow down enough.
I don't understand where they were all going. The spotters generally, Rick, will communicate. 33 will tell 30, and they'll tell 23 exactly what everybody's doing.
Communication didn't work out there, and Max Pappas slides through and into the inside wall. Stay with us here on Speed. And welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. The Mountain Dew 250 presented on Speed by Dodge. Continuing, our Aaron's lucky dog goes to the 31 of James Busher. We had 3 wave-around trucks, the 4 of Ricky Carmichael, the 28 by Andy Lally, and the 57 of Norm Benning. Green flag back in the air.
Great start by Chris Fontaine. Got the jump.
Good strategy, too. 2 tires to stay out front.
Looked like they had a bit of a rub or something on the right front fender. Beat that out. Got 2 tires and still grabbed the lead. But it looks like Jason White has got a big run on the outside with
Grafton in front in that 88 on that high line. We'll see if that outside line is going to work. Jay White gets to the front on the inside line, and here comes Crafton on the outside.
Left Austin Dillon hanging, didn't he?
Sure did.
You're clear. He's not yet.
Remember, we saw Kyle Busch pushing Matt Crafton earlier. May push him to the lead right here.
And that was, we just heard Matt Crafton's spotter say, you're clear, he's not yet. And that's a great piece of information because those guys are working together. He doesn't want to hang the guy that pushed him up there out.
And that's what I was talking about before. You have to be cognizant of who you're racing with and whether he gets clear when you're trying to make a pass.
There's Kyle Busch giving Crafton that push, pushed him down into turn 1.
And they are clear, and so now they drop down to the bottom of the racetrack. The 88 and 18. Can they check out on this field now if they stay nose to tail?
Guys, we're seeing more and more pushing, trying to gain space, trying to make their way to the front. The more you push, the more chances you take. Don't take it for granted these guys are going to just be able to push each other and keep going straight. Sometimes the truck will get away from you.
17 trucks are on the lead lap. Timothy Peters scored in the 17th position.
How about Todd Bodine? He was one of the trucks pitted too soon, had to go to the back of the pack. And look at him, he's racing in the top 10. Got pushed a little bit by Hornaday. He's right behind the 5 of Skinner.
You see those things jumping around? One of them's going to jump around in the wrong direction in a minute.
Out in front, Matt Crafton leading laps at Talladega. Right behind him, Kyle Busch. He hasn't led a lap yet. Looking to lead a lap for those 5 bonus points and that all-important Owners Championship he's running for.
And it looks like Todd Bodine is determined that he's not going to do it. Todd's racing his race right now. He's saying, I'm going to go get the lead before Kyle Busch can get it.
Kyle Busch will keep his eye on the rearview mirror.
Look at those
checking
speeds.
Out that 23 of Jason White. Yeah, how about that?
193 miles an hour these guys are going around here, pushing each other.
Yeah, pushing on each other.
Mike Skinner on the outside line. He's got Todd Bodine behind him. Right behind them, it's Hornaday.
What about the names in there with Hornaday and Busch? Chris Fontaine, Jason White.
Watch out for this lap truck here on the inside.
Remember what happened when we went 3 wide right there before? We had a crash.
Everybody gets by that 39 of Ryan Sieg.
Bodine to the outside.
Bodine goes to the outside of the 5. Hangs out Mike Skinner in the middle.
Top of
Here
3.
comes the 2 with the 33.
Down the very bottom, middle's open.
Teammates behind that 30 of Todd Bodine.
See that push right there?
Inside line's coming.
Did you see that push?
From the 51 of Almirola on the 5 of Skinner.
Up the middle pushing too. You know, if that thing weaves one way or the other, there's nowhere to hide.
Remember, we saw Matt Crafton, Johnny Sauter, Eric Almirola. They fell way back. They were almost 2 football fields behind the main pack. Well, now they are right in the middle of it. We got Crafton out in front, Johnny Sauter, and the 51 of Eric Almirola. Those 2 trucks are trying to make their way to the front using the outside line.
Okay, if these guys were racing like this with 5 to go, I'd be nervous. But man, we still got 20-some laps to go. This is out of control. You can't run 20 laps like this without wrecking.
Here comes Kyle Busch. He makes the move to the outside of the 88. He has help. It looks as though Kyle Busch is going to get the shove to the front, but can he hold on to it?
What about Skinner up on the high side with help?
With Almirola behind him.
Almirola is so strong at this racetrack. He has been able to push Kyle Busch to a win. Can he push Mike Skinner to the lead?
How about Jason White right on the rear tailgate of the 18?
Oh, there they go.
Down to the infield, almost infield, the apron. We saw a truck make a hard left turn onto the apron, but we stay green. 3 wide through the tri-oval. Kyle Busch is going to lead a lap here at Talladega.
Kyle got one before Todd could. That tightens our Owners Championship battle up. Another 5 points in Kyle Busch's column.
Kyle Busch in front now. Jason White, Mike Skinner, Todd Bodine, Matt Crafton, all in that bunch up front.
Do you see the rear tailgate of the 3 truck there of Austin Dillon? A lot of damage to that rear tailgate.
Look at all the tape on the front of Todd Bodine's truck. It's starting to ravel off.
Look at the back of the 46 of Craig Ghost. That's from pushing and beating and banging.
Clear. They're all around.
Riding along with Austin Dillon. There's that sun that they were talking about.
Yeah, but now it's gone, see. He's clear racetrack now.
2 wide through the tri-oval. Again, it's Kyle Busch, Jason White, 1 and 2. Todd Bodine running 3rd.
Is that fender of Todd Bodine's together enough, Phil, where he can lead this race? I know he can run 2nd and 3rd. There's no question about that. But can he pull out and make a move with his fender all wrinkled up on the left front?
A lot of tape, a lot of Barabond X-Flex tape on that truck right now. Don't know if it's flapping too much.
So many times you hear teams talking about how they massage these trucks to run at super speedways.
Somebody's clobbered Craig Ghost. You can see the left rear fender all bent up on that truck. That'll definitely hurt him.
See a little bit of that tape flapping now. If a lot of that tape comes off of that 30 truck of Talladega, then he may drop like a stone. As you mentioned, there's no way he could lead.
Boy, I don't like this. This is too crazy for this early.
24 laps. It'll be 23 laps when they cross the stripe this time. Kyle Busch in front.
They're just
looking to go back to back here.
They're just too aggressive right now, Phil. Pushing too hard for this early.
And remember, these trucks aren't like the Sprint Cup cars. They don't line up nearly as well as the Sprint Cup cars. As a matter of fact, they really don't even line up.
That's right. That's correct.
Here with a good push.
You're hearing? Give you a push. Jason
30
White
pushing a 23 behind you.
Just behind
81 pushing you
the 18,
still.
and now we're seeing the 81 push his teammate, the 5 of Mike Skinner. Not teammates.
Used to be teammates.
Used to be teammates. David
now they don't even like each other. You hear him earlier? I'm not going to play with him anymore if he does that again.
But they're working together on the racetrack.
He has to leave my sandbox.
Yeah, right.
Hey guys, I just wanted to add to what Phil was saying about the bumpers not lining up. I talked with Todd Bodine at length yesterday, and he said, I promise you at Daytona, you can never bump draft with these things because we have so much rebound in our shocks because it's a really rough racetrack, or at least it has been in the past. But Talladega is so smooth, he said, we dropped the front end of these trucks down so far, you can run your bumper, the front bumper of your truck completely under the guy in front of you's bumper and use the grill of your truck to push. So he said in those last couple laps, don't be surprised to see the most bump drafting you've ever seen in a truck race here at Talladega.
Okay, and I can just tell you, Ray, that's a bad idea. Because when you go up under the rear bumper and get your grill in there, you're going to start lifting those rear tires off the ground, and that's why these things are jumping all over the place.
Yes, they are. They're jumping all over the place. 22 laps to go from Talladega. Out in front, Kyle Busch looking to go back-to-back here. Third caution has come out at Talladega Superspeedway. It was a one-truck incident. At least one truck slid to the apron of the racetrack, and that was the 17 of Timothy Peters.
That one truck would argue that there was another truck that was involved in that incident, and that
he was not alone, was he?
84 of Chris Fontaine. Peters was slow on the apron, Rick, and they were lapping him as they got down into turn 1, and when they started lapping him, they ran out of room.
Jason White staying out, Michael.
And coming on to pit road, the 18 of Kyle Busch, the 30 of Todd Bodine. Kristen.
Kyle Busch and Eric Phillips knew it would be close. He said with green-white checkers, they couldn't take the chance. Feel only, Ray?
Same situation for Todd Bodine. They didn't want to take any gamble, just a fuel, and they look at that front fender real quickly. Back to the racetrack for the 30.
Todd Bodine looks like he's trying to pass the 18 of Kyle Busch on pit road.
Could get busted for speeding.
He doesn't want to speed on pit road. There's damage to the back of the 3 of Austin Dillon.
That's bump drafting. That's the result of bump drafting right there.
They're trying to pit or something. We've seen it about all today.
Yeah.
We have trouble pitting.
Pull the tape off the top if you can.
We have trouble lapping trucks.
Yeah, the reason we're under caution, let's take a look now.
Same situation as earlier, Michael, with that accident we had go over in turn number 1. See the black truck. He's on the inside. He's a lap down. Chris Fontaine makes contact with him.
I just need a little space is all I need, guys. And he didn't get it. But look at this save he makes. Keeps the thing heading the right direction. Lets off the brake just at the right time. Gets it rolling in the right direction.
Right along with Austin Dillon.
Watch this up ahead. See that black truck turns down to the inside. Austin says, I wonder where he's going to go. I know he's coming back up the racetrack at some point. Fortunately for Austin, it was behind him.
Here's the race off pit road, and it's a close one. Kyle Busch by a front bumper.
You know, we talked about the 30 trying to beat the 18 off the pit road, and you know he gained almost a truck length in that from the time he left his pit. Too fast in leaving the pits. He will have to go to the tail end of the longest line, Ray.
And I'll tell you what, Phil, they had contemplated putting tires on that Valvoline Tundra, and Mike Hillman called it off at the very last second there. But now he's saying, what do you think, Bud? Should we put these tires on since we've got to go to the back? They've got them up on the wall, ready to go. So we'll see what their decision is, whether they come in here and get these tires at lap 76. What's happening on your end, Adam?
Very interesting conversation when the caution came out for Jason White. It was pretty much a consensus. No doubt we're going to pit from the crew standpoint. Jason White said, if I don't need fuel, I'm not pitting. So they came back and said, okay, save fuel, stay out. We could be a big question mark if we get a green-white checker, but he feels pretty confident he can save enough fuel, and I think he's really enjoying the view. 23 out front as we close on 15 laps to go.
You know, in the spring here, I think we had the maximum 3 attempts at a green-white checkered for the Cup race. They ran 30-some extra miles. So Jason better hope that doesn't happen today. He'll never make it to the finish.
Right.
For Fresh Wranglers was the call from Mike Hillman Jr. He and Todd Bodine talked it over a good bit. He said, if I'm coming from the back, I want every opportunity. Here go those 4 tires. They'll get them on. They've got plenty of fuel. This thing's got a complete fuel load. And Todd Bodine will start from the rear. We'll see how many laps it takes to see if he can get back to the front.
It ain't going to take him many, Ray. Heck, what would you do? Did we run 2 before he got back to the top 5 last time?
I don't think so. And obviously they had a chance to look at the repair work to that left front fender. We're comfortable with that because they have nothing to lose. They have to restart this race from the tail end of the longest line as we give another Aaron's lucky dog to David Starr. Put him right back on the lead lap.
Well, and David Starr had pushed Skinner to the front. He was racing at the front of the pack, a lap down. He grabs this Aaron's lucky dog. He's got a chance to win this race now. We saw him out of gas early in the race. Now he's in a position to win it.
17 trucks are on the lead lap. That means we'll be just over 8 rows back. They're in the Todd Bodine area because on the lead lap, obviously, you get to start double file up front.
Guys, we're inside of 20 laps to go. They're going to come to this restart here with 17 laps to go. I don't know if I can hold my breath that long.
I don't like it, Phil. I didn't like it. They started doing all that stuff too soon for me. Just think about this. We can't pit right. We can't lap guys. And now we're trying to bump draft. How long can we do that right?
Well, let's take a look at our Dodge save of the race. We think this is going to be the best one. There's still 17 laps to go in this one.
So we'll probably have some more saves before it's all said and done.
We're going to need more saves.
Watch Narain Carthagena here. This is that first incident when we were lapping a truck. Watch him now. He's right behind Jeffrey Aaron. Oh, and he misses him.
Wow. Unbelievable. Take another look.
Narain's going, okay, what do I do now?
And give a gas right through. That was our Dodge save of the race. Pace car is off the racetrack onto pit road. That puts the field back in the hands of Jason White and Ron Hornaday. Side by side coming through the tri-oval. Green flag back in the air.
Jason White leads another lap. This is the second most laps he's led in his career. You remember back at Bristol when he led 86 laps in 09? Here in Talladega, this is the second most laps he's ever led. So he didn't want to give up that lead and come to pit road. I don't need no gas, he said.
Remember, he was very, very close to winning his first race of his career at Daytona this year. Ended up with a great top 5 finish. He's looking for that first one.
These trucks get up to speed a lot faster than the Cup cars. They have over 600 horsepower. Because of the air that they punch, or the big hole in the air that they punch. And how about Hornaday?
How about
flexing his muscles up front?
Johnny Sauter with his strategy to start from the back was rallying to the front here late in the going.
I don't think there's going to be any laying back here anymore.
It is a sprint to the finish now as they will have 16 laps of racing to go. Hornaday in front of Jason White and Chris Fontaine in third in the 84.
With a big push from Kyle Busch, that truck could go all the way to the lead.
Kyle Busch tucked in behind the 84. We'll see if they do make it up to side by side with that 33 of Hornaday.
I'm sure Kyle's thinking, I wonder who this guy is I'm pushing. I hope he can hang on. It's not going to stop me from pushing. I just hope he can hang on.
A lot of wiggling going on that outside line as they work their way past the 33. Will they clear that 33 and be able to drop to the bottom of the track? They do. Chris Fontaine out in front.
Awesome job by Chris Fontaine thus far here with 16 laps to go.
Chris is just saying, can it be over? Please let it be over right now.
Rain, something, anything.
Take the picture as I cross the stripe. I've got Kyle Busch behind me, leading the race at Talladega, Ray.
When that truck won all of its races, obviously it was a Dodge. It's now a Toyota today, but the guys told me when they practiced with this thing, they would try different springs and different shocks, and they said there was only one setup that would work on this racetrack, and that's the one that came on it before they cut the body off. They tried all kinds of different things. They set it up exactly the way it's run in the past. Old freaks back at the front on a Superspeedway.
And it feels so good for Chris Fontaine.
Yeah, that was a Bobby Hamilton truck. that had so much success with Bobby Hamilton behind the wheel.
One with 3 different drivers at Daytona, as Ray told us.
Side by side back here running that second line, not making as big a move. We've got Skinner in front of him. Matt Crafton, Kenny Schrader in the 2, trying to help push that outside line.
You know, we talked about the owners' points battle at the top of the show. Right now, as they run on the track, Kyle Busch's team is up by 21 points over Todd Bodine. So Todd needs to rally. And we know how much this owners' championship means to these 2 organizations. They're going to battle it out all the way to Homestead. Right now, give the advantage to Kyle Busch's team.
Right now, Todd Bodine is back in this lead draft. And remember, he had to restart at the tail end of the tail end of the field here because of a speeding penalty as Mike Skinner's pushed to the lead by Matt Crafton.
Crafton, Schrader, Eric Almirola working that outside line, trying to get the 5 up front.
Ricky Carmichael, Todd Bodine now make it 3 wide on the outside.
Ricky Carmichael again had to use the wave around earlier to get on the lead lap. Now he's 4 wide as they go through the tri-oval.
I'm a mess up here, y'all. My palms are sweating. My heart's beating. They can't keep racing like this. How are they doing it?
13 laps remaining at Talladega. Chris Fontaine still on point. Now Skinner moving on the outside. He's going to get a little help from the 88 of Crafton.
It looks like a start of the race.
Side by side all the way back. 7 rows back, 8 rows back. They're door to door.
Now here's why. This is why this is so fun. There was no way Chris Fontaine and Kyle Busch planned on working together. But that's what they're doing, and they find themselves working together at the front of the pack.
Just got to keep her straight. When he bumps into you, just try to hold the steering wheel as best you can.
You got to keep it straight. And I guarantee you, that's every one of these guys. Best idea to keep it straight.
How about that lesson coming with 12 laps of racing to go?
I'd say that message was followed by a no kidding.
Ray Dunlap.
Hey, Rick, they've sent the message to Mike Skinner 3 or 4 times on the radio. You are short on fuel, about 2 laps, not going to make it. My record showing pitting last on lap 58. So Skinner trying to be in conservation mode. Maybe he needs to tuck in and do a little more drafting.
Chris Fontaine still in front of this pack. He's got Kyle Busch all over his back bumper. A veteran like Kyle Busch knows how to bump draft. How about James Buescher in the 31, and then right behind him in that 30 is Todd Bodine. Now Bodine looks to the outside. He's going to make it 3 wide to see if they can keep that momentum.
Lorraine Carthagena getting caught in the middle right now.
A lot of bouncing around there.
4 wide.
Skinner sees that move coming, and so he jumps out in front of the 30, trying to get a little assistance from that 30 of Todd Bodine.
See, I think Kyle Busch has decided he's happy right now, Phil. He likes running along behind Fontaine. He thinks he can put a move on him to win the race. If he can just keep everybody in that line right there, the first 5 trucks or so, I don't think he'll do anything till the very end.
You don't think these guys want to keep that inside line protected? Now they're running with half the trucks on the inside line.
You know, we saw the 33 of Ron Hornaday actually down below the double yellow line. He wasn't trying to improve his position. He was just running down there probably to get a little air on the front of that truck. But as long as you don't improve your position, as we see Skinner moving to the outside of Ken Schrader and hanging Schrader up in the inside, as long as you don't improve your position below the double yellow line, you're okay.
Oh, this is getting tense.
Or Schrader went way to the back. Now he's going to tuck in behind Lorraine Carthagena on the inside line.
We're having
another lap truck.
That's bad. It has been anyway. Oh, and it's going to be again.
Wide. Are we going to have a problem down at the bottom of the track?
Oh, I don't know how they made it through that one.
Grant Enfinger was on the inside of Johnny Sauter, and they barely came off turn 2 without crashing. This is making my makeup run.
Sauter is dropping back. We're seeing Schrader make the move forward.
Look at the run Skinner's got.
Todd Bodine got a good shove from Mike Skinner. He moves to the outside to try to take 6th away.
Craig Ghost doing a terrific job right now, running up in that 6th position.
And the left side of that truck's tore all to pieces.
How about the 95 making the move now? That's Grant Enfinger, another one of those drivers making his first truck start.
Has some ARCA experience here. Couple great runs in the ARCA Racing Series for Grant Enfinger here at Talladega.
Hey guys, there's another lap truck we're going to catch here in a minute.
I don't know if we can take it.
Look, Todd's went back to the bottom. He bailed out on Skinner. Oh, good, he quit. The lap truck. I mean, he pulled on the.
Caution's out.
And the caution comes out.
Don't slow down too quick.
The 87 or the 57 of Norm Benning has stopped on the racetrack. Oh my goodness.
Now,
catch your breath.
Now Chris Fontaine's best buddy in the whole world isn't going to be behind him anymore. Kyle Busch is going to pull up on the outside of Chris Fontaine.
Or the inside, depending on which way Chris decides to go.
I'd take that bottom line in a heartbeat. That'll put Ron Hornaday right behind Chris and just try to use Ron Hornaday for the same purposes he was using Kyle Busch. He loves Kyle Busch right now. He's fixing to love Ron Hornaday more.
17 trucks on the lead lap. Will add one. Yes, Timothy Peters will be back on the lead lap. 18 trucks when we restart. Friday, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series thunders into Texas, where NASCAR's Outlaws have a Wild West-style showdown in the Lone Star State. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series live from Texas Friday, 8:30 Eastern, only on Speed.
You think we can catch our breath by then?
Oh, I don't know.
You think that's a Wild West-style showdown. How about this one? The Aaron's Lucky Dog goes to Timothy Peters.
He's back on the lead lap. He was spinning just a few minutes ago.
He's on the lead lap. That'll make it 18 trucks on the lead lap when he comes around and tacks to the back of the field.
We're going to have 6 to go, and I don't doubt that that man could go up there and get a top 5 finish with what we're getting ready to see. Bill, I think I don't know about when I race, I'm pretty happy being in the pack, bouncing around doing all that stuff. But when I watch, I can't hardly stand it.
How about the guys we spotlighted making their first ever starts in the Camping World Truck Series? Craig Ghost running 6th, Grant Enfinger in 7th.
Yeah, incredible jobs for both those drivers. Unfortunately for Dominic Casola, out of the race already, but Arcade Racing Series well represented here in the Camping World Truck Series.
Hey, y'all listen to Chris Fontaine's radio. I love this. They're trying to cheer him on. Listen to this.
Chris, remember, determination you got on the dirt tracks. Just muster up that determination. I've seen you do it before.
How great is that? From the dirt tracks to Talladega, we're trying to win us a race. I want to see some determination.
From the dirt tracks to 33 degrees of banking at a 2.66 mile super speedway.
Couldn't be any further apart. 2 worlds further apart than that. But that man's trying to get him to call on those days when he's beating the best on the dirt and do it again here at Talladega.
Chris Fontaine got to the front because of the 18 of Kyle Busch pushing him to the front. Now he will be racing Kyle Busch for the lead as they go into turn number 1. The pace car and Randy Kaiser pulling off onto pit road. The field back in the hands of Fontaine and Kyle Busch as they come through the tri-oval. Getting ready for the restart. 6 laps of racing to go. Green flag back in the air. A great restart for Chris Fontaine, maybe too good.
No, that's exactly what we needed, Rick. We needed a great restart because we're going to block Ron Hornaday, and he's going to push us ahead of Kyle.
Kyle Busch now battling back on the outside. Here comes Jason White in the 23. He will push them by Chris Fontaine. They move to 1 and 2. Fontaine back to 3.
Wasn't a good enough start.
Unbelievable start for Kyle Busch. Can he stay out front? He's talked so many times about, am I supposed to be in front? Am I supposed to be second? Well, right now he's in front. He'll have 5 to go when they get to the stripe.
Austin Dillon jumped on the line. Now we're 3 wide. Johnny Sauter up on the high side with Eric Almirola pushing.
2 trucks on the high side trying to make the momentum up on this restarted lap. Adam Alexander.
And under caution when they were getting set to take the green, Jason White got on his radio and said, "Tell Kyle I will push him into the lead by the time we get to the back straightaway." That plan worked, but now they've got company in the outside lane. Look at Austin Dillon.
Well, how about Eric Almirola pushing the 13 of Johnny Sauter? Johnny Sauter squeezes right in front of Kyle Busch and holds on to second down the backstretch.
Was there a hole there to get in? Move of the day right there. He just thought there was a hole, and he said, I'm going for it. Stuck that truck in there, and now he's still in a position to win the race.
Eric Almirola in front. He has been one of the strongest trucks ever since they unloaded the haulers on Wednesday. Now, can he hang on? He's got Johnny Sauter behind him, and right behind him, Kyle Busch, hungry for another win at Talladega.
I still don't see him not being able to pull this off for another 4 or 5 laps. This is amazing racing. They're all over each other.
4 to go when they cross the stripe. Almirola in front of Johnny Sauter and Todd Bodine, or Todd Bodine making his way up to the front.
Todd Bodine got hung in behind. Right now, the 33 of Ron Hornaday. Remember how well they worked together early in this race.
Grant Enfinger's trying to give Austin Dillon a big shove up the back straightaway. Austin sideways off turn 2, but they've got it hooked up.
Austin Dillon trying to make that second line move. Todd Bodine trying to give the shove to the 33 of Hornaday. Chris Fontaine wants to get back up front. He runs the bottom of the line. Up the racetrack goes Austin Dillon, almost into the outside
Three wide
wall.
on top. Clear behind that 95 if you want it. One lane, one lane.
This time by 3 laps of racing to go. Eric Almirola trying to hang on.
Remember, he pushed Kyle Busch to the win here last year. Kyle Busch was in the truck he's driving. Oh, there they go.
Hornaday goes around. Ray Karthikeyan almost upside down, and he does go on his foot as Ron Hornaday.
There just wasn't any way.
Hornaday rolls again in turn number 1.
You said it, Michael.
That started too soon, Phil. They were doing that for 25 laps.
See Ron moving around inside of that truck.
Trying to get free from the 33. You see the movement.
I'm sure NASCAR will red flag this race here.
Talk to us, Ron.
Safety crews immediately to him.
Here comes Todd Bodine to check on Ron.
Click the bike. He's all right.
Feel good. I saw him moving around in there.
You saw Todd Bodine run up to the side of the 33 truck. Competitors and very good friends.
What about this sport? Last week he celebrated in Victory Lane. This week he's on his roof with just a couple of laps to go.
He's out. He's out. It's all good.
Bodine happy to see his friend Ron Hornaday getting out of that truck.
A real good truck there today, guys. Not our fault. We was in the hunt. Pack all this stuff up. It's in the wrong place. It needs to be in Kernersville.
Safety crews attending to Hornaday.
I think maybe Ron had signaled to the safety folks that he needed them to flip the truck over because he was stuck in there. That happened to me one day in Daytona back in '04. I turned over and there was no way I was getting out, and they had to flip the car over so I could make my way out of the car, and I'm sure that's what's going on with Ron. Looks like they're putting straps around it so they can roll it.
You saw the same thing with Ryan Newman a little while back where he was upside down. They needed to get that vehicle turned back on its wheels so they could get out. You see Todd Bodine coming back over now, checking. There's Grant Enfinger having a great run. We had just talked about it. Now his day is done. A lot of damage to the front of that 2 of Ken Schrader. Again, red flag condition here as we had just 3 laps of racing remaining coming through the tri-oval, and that's where the mess started.
So Mike Skinner's truck also with a lot of damage in that last shot. There's Narain Karthikeyan's truck with a lot of front damage and rear damage. That's Mike Skinner's truck right in front of Narain's truck. Well, we talk about the big one. We talked about at the very top of the show. We've been pretty fortunate. We've been trying to have a big one just about from the drop of the green flag, and unfortunately it came here just in the last 5 laps.
I was going to go hug every one of those guys if they were able to somehow figure out not how to crash, because it's just too hard to do what they're asked to do. You know, those bumpers not lining up, trucks moving around all over the place. Let's see what caused this to start.
Looked like the Todd got pushed by the 95 of Grant Enfinger, and it turned him into the truck on the inside of him. And then you see Ron Hornaday going upside down.
Grant was just doing what he saw there. Ooh, wow, look at that hit late by
Todd.
Grant was just doing what he'd seen everyone else do. A rookie at this first start.
Now, watch the red truck. He's going to push Todd Bodine, and it's going to turn Todd sideways right there into the 5 of Mike Skinner. Mike gets into the 33 of Hornaday.
Just too big of a push. Look at the job that Matt Crafton does, sneaking around the outside.
And when these trucks get backwards, obviously we talked earlier about the spoiler being at 65 degrees. When they go backwards, it lifts that back into that truck of Hornaday up and onto its top it goes.
Plus, he was not only backwards, he's getting pushed by Mike Skinner too, so I'm sure that helped ramp that truck up in the air. But as you see the trucks going out of the screen to the left, all those guys are getting ready to do it all over again, Rick. They got a couple of laps to try to figure out how to win this race, and if you survive this crash, you think you still got a shot to win the race.
And you know what, Rick? They're going to put this completely out of their minds. All the guys that saw this and they're going to see the aftermath, they're going to put it completely out of their minds and race hard for 2 laps just like there's no tomorrow.
We'll We'll be holding our breath once again when we see the green flag come back out. Again, they're riding the 33 of Ron Hornaday, getting it back onto its wheels. You see the NASCAR official talking to Ron Hornaday. He's still in the truck. They opted to turn it back over so that he could climb out, and we're seeing him now climbing out of that 33. That is a great sight.
Listen to the crowd. Listen to the fans.
What a great sport. The first one to get to Ron Hornaday.
Look at him laughing.
Yeah. The first person to get to Ron Hornaday was his competitor, but good friend Todd Bodine. This is the big one. Just after they cross the stripe, multiple trucks involved, and Hornaday on his roof. Almirola still scored as your race leader under red flag conditions. Welcome back to Talladega. The Mountain Dew 250 presented on speed by Dodge under a red flag condition. You see the 30 of Todd Bodine being put on the wrecker. Quite a few trucks involved in this most recent accident. Ken Schrader, Mike Skinner, Todd Bodine, Hornaday, Karthikeyan, and Grant Enfinger. Let's look again at what happened. Again, crossing over the tri-oval and the start-finish line.
The 95 pulls in behind Todd Bodine to give him a push, and it turns Todd sideways into the 5 of Mike Skinner.
How many times have we seen drivers with lots of experience racing these trucks make that mistake? Grant Enfinger with limited experience, racing for the win here late in the going, just a little over aggressive, too excited, pushed Todd too hard at the wrong spot. They're just not quite even straight yet at that point, or just getting straight, but that hit on the back of the 30 truck caused this big mess. Look at Crafton slipping through on the outside. What a great move. Other guys, James Busher, Austin Dillon, right through the middle of that crash.
Incredible action here at Talladega. He was right between the tri-oval and the start-finish line, as you mentioned, not quite straight. Maybe he waits another 100 feet. He may have been straight, but that still may not have kept that truck from turning sideways.
It was a big enough hit. That might have happened anywhere.
One of the hardest things to comprehend is they're doing 190 miles an hour when all of this is happening.
You know what? It's not hard for Ron Hornaday to comprehend that. His truck went flying through the air because of all that speed. I think that's what, as you watch on TV and having done this before, Phil, it's hard to explain to people how difficult this is and how hard it is not to have this happen. That's why I got so nervous with 25 laps to go when they started racing like this. I didn't see any way that they could get to the finish without having a big crash.
Remember Todd Bodine running to the side of that truck, checking on Ron Hornaday, and now he's with Krista.
Yeah, obviously a lot of emotions. Todd, as we saw in that video, you were less concerned, obviously, with what was going on with your truck and your wreck. Wanted to check on your friend Hornaday. Are you guys both okay?
Yeah, Ron's fine. He's in there joking about it. He said that was a good ride. It was real smooth, he said. Then all of a sudden it got rough. Yeah, that's a shame that things like that happen. I think the 95 just gave me the shot from hell. Thought he was going to bump me somewhere, but turned me sideways and caused a big wreck. But I got to get going because my guys, being the great crew they are, going to put it back together and try to pick up a few spots.
All right, go get them.
I love that.
He's in a run for the Owners' Championship. He's got to get every spot he can get.
Championship battle. You got to do what you can do.
Again, under a red flag condition as they're cleaning up the racetrack, and the reason being this right here. Remember, when you get on one of those big jumbo jets, they take off at 170 miles an hour. They're doing 190. And Ron Hornaday gets upside down. Stay with us.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway. Ron Hornaday just coming out of the care center after going from on the pole to on your roof. Todd Bodine said you were joking in the care center that it was a smooth ride. How is that possible?
Well, you hate to say this, but Kevin didn't say it, but I brought the steering wheel back. If you can't win, you got to bring the steering wheel back. But hard. It's such a good truck. All these guys. First of all, I got to thank the safety workers and all the guys who build my truck at KHI. This is unbelievable. I don't even know who clipped me, but Talladega, I mean, coming in the pits, I braked pretty hard, and Todd got in the back of me, and it probably ruined both of our days, but didn't know which lane to go to. You know, it's just, if Todd was up there, we got to the outside, and he couldn't push me anymore because of his front fender or whatever, but it's cool to come here and let a lot of laps and learn a bunch. too bad we ruined a good truck. I got to thank Kevin Delaney again, RCR. Easy go. We're going to get easy go a win yet before the end of the year.
We're just glad you're okay. Thanks, Ron.
Well,
I gotta
are
get
you
all,
ready?
I got to get all messed up again, don't I, Rick?
Here comes the field. Eric Almirola,
What's wrong?
Johnny Sauter,
Chris
Kyle
Fontaine's
Busch.
out of gas.
Fontaine slow on the bottom of the track.
Turn
Looks
left,
as though
Chris.
he's got problems. Get on the apron.
Turn left.
Here comes the field. Green flag back in the air. Almirola on the inside. Sauter on the outside, running second. Kyle Busch down on the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to push Eric Almirola.
There's Austin Dillon, Jason White, Johnny Sauter.
Remember, there's already a plan in effect with the 51 of Almirola and the 18 of Kyle Busch.
Kyle Busch talked to Almirola before this race. I'll help you around the racetrack. You did it for me last year. How about Jay White? He moved to the outside. Will he get help?
Yes, it looks like the 31 of James Buscher's going to try to go with him.
There's the 84, Chris Fontaine. Stopped. He's on pit road.
Yeah, he's only one pit away from the last pit stall, so he's out of the way right now. We can finish this thing.
Oh, Buscher bailed on Jay White. Jay White's in trouble.
Jay White's going to start dropping back now. Through the tri-oval, they will see the white flag. One lap of racing to go from Talladega.
One lap, bud. Watch your mirrors.
Austin Dillon, he was on the outside. Does he get any help? No, they're going to hang him out.
He got rooted out too. When will Kyle Busch make his move on Almirola? How does he make his move?
Or will he make his move? Almirola pushed him to the win a year ago.
They were teammates. They're not
Everybody
now.
still in line. Still in line.
He'll try
No
to jump
big run.
around that
No
51
big
truck.
run.
Down the back stretch, getting ready to come into turn number 3 for the
still tied
final
with them.
turn here at
Still tied with
Talladega.
them.
We got a long way to go to the start-finish line.
Almirola in front of Kyle Busch. Back behind him, Sauter.
Bring it to the checker. Bring it to the checker.
And the 88 of Matt Crafton.
Still
Are they going to
lined
make the move? Here comes Sauter looking to the inside. Almirola in front of Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is going to move to the inside. It's a drag race. They're 3 wide at the stripe. It looked as though Kyle Busch may have outlasted Almirola 2/1000ths of a second.
Holy cow.
Unbelievable.
I think you got it, bud.
3 wide at the stripe. Kyle Busch gets
That
it
was
by
a hell of a
2/1000ths of a minute or a second.
Kyle Busch tried to upset the truck of Almirola. He tried to get in the back of it.
Of a second. Hell yeah.
Get him wiggling around and make the move to the inside. And it worked
cool, boys.
perfectly.
That's really
Johnny
cool.
Sauter looks as though scored 3rd in
Hell
this
yeah.
one. He was
That was the coolest move I
29/1000ths of
ever
a
seen at
second
the
back.
line. Heck of a job, bud.
What a finish. Man, these guys in these trucks never disappoint us.
The 3rd place truck was 29/1000ths of a second behind.
It was 3 wide at the stripe. And
Jumping up and down right there because you drive it, just pulled one off.
2/1000ths of a second separated 1 and 2.
Look at him shaking his head. He can't believe it either.
And one of the things you've always got to realize when you come to Talladega, you cannot go below the double yellow line.
was driving there, but I'm telling you what, Kate?
That's Rick
That's
Rick.
why he's Kyle Busch.
That was amazing.
Almirola moved up the racetrack just enough to open it up for the 18. Take a look.
He didn't move up as much as he was shoved around, Rick. He's all over the back of that truck. You know he's just driving the front tires. He wasn't driving the back ones. Look at Johnny Sauter diving to the outside.
Look at Kyle sideways.
Unbelievable.
Took
As
the
they
checker
cross-
out of control.
Yeah, look at this.
This is going to be a great angle.
As they come to the stripe.
Great shot, guys.
Busch goes down to the bottom. Sauter goes up to the top. And right at the stripe, it's amazing. Johnny Sauter is right at the door of the 51, and he finishes 3rd.
That's what 2/1000ths of a second looks like.
I did not know that, Bill. I wondered what it looked like. That's pretty cool.
How about the winning crew chief? Is he celebrating yet, Krista?
Yeah, we're on our celebratory walk towards victory lane. Eric Phillips, you had fists pumping in the air. Were you even surprised, though, because on the radio it was push him to victory lane. Were you surprised when Kyle made that move?
I knew what he was going to do. You know, that's why he's Kyle Busch. I just got to thank Trexas, Toyota, and all these people, Rick and Kyle, for giving me this opportunity. I'm just a lucky guy to sit up here every week. And Kyle Busch is the man. That's why these fans love him. Some of them hate him, but he gets it done when it's money time.
Or hate him, you can't deny what he has done in a car or truck. Eric Phillips is running to victory lane.
Well, he has plenty of time to get there because Kyle Busch is not done celebrating yet.
Oh, no. the bow once again for Kyle Busch. Again, he was going to push Eric Almirola.
He wasn't going to push him to the win.
Almost to the start-finish line. Out of the tri-oval, he moves to the bottom of the track.
Hey, Rick, I didn't buy that from the beginning. There was no way he was just going to go run second without trying to pass Almirola.
They were working together. There's no question about that. That plan was formulated well before the race started.
Watch this finish, guys.
3 trucks crossing within 31 thousandths of a second. Adam Alexander.
And you can only imagine the frustration for Eric Almirola, his crew chief Richie Waters, leading there late, an opportunity to get one at Talladega, and it slips away. Take us through the final lap as you came through the tri-oval, Eric.
I was at his mercy. He could have went to my outside, he could have went to my inside. I tried to do everything I could to try and protect as long as I could. I think NASCAR maybe should look at that. It looked like he went below the yellow line right there right before the start-finish line. It was really close, but God dang it, I hate to lose one like that, man. These guys work awfully hard on our speedway stuff, and to lose one like that is bad. He's below the yellow line. You can see it right there.
And Eric, obviously last year, you two worked together at that stage. You were teammates. A lot of conversation yesterday in practice, again this morning, about you two working together. Had there been conversations between the two spotters prior to that last restart?
Yeah, we had talked about it. We knew we wanted to stay together. We had good trucks. We saw that in practice yesterday, and I knew I had a good truck yesterday. I pushed Johnny there to the lead when I felt like it was time to go, and man, that's disappointing if they give that win to him. I feel like I let these guys down, but I don't really know what else I could have done.
Thanks, Eric.
I'll tell you right here now, Kyle Busch is spinning, Michael. That's why he went down below the yellow line. You see the left side's down just a little bit below the yellow line, but I think there's no question that Kyle Busch won that race.
He didn't go there on purpose. That's where he went to try to save his car, save his truck. They got together. He was sideways over that yellow line.
Yeah, the name that comes up obviously is Regan Smith, that lost a race here because he went below the double yellow line. Now in victory lane, though, it is Kyle Busch. We go to Chris Devoda.
Kyle Busch takes a breath and then climbs out of the number 18 Traxxas Tundra. The winning truck, the 6th win for Kyle Busch this year. So Kyle, I know you've talked about which wins this year were most special. Obviously the first one at Nashville as a driver owner, the sweep at Bristol. But that move at Talladega as a driver owner, where's that one compared?
That's cool. I didn't want to do it. Man, Eric deserved to win the race. I mean, he deserved it from last year, but I had Johnny pushing on me, and I was getting loose through the tri-oval, just trying to stay with the 51, and I turned it back to the bottom to try to straighten it back out, and I was still loose alongside of him, but I thought the 13 was going to my bottom, so I wanted to block him, but man, it was just crazy there at the end. I can't thank Traxxas, this Toyota Tundra. Man, these guys do an awesome job here at Kyle Busch Motorsports. M&M's, Flexco, NOS Energy Drink, Gillette, of course, and our good friend Jim Hunter passed away this morning, so thoughts go to him and his family and everybody, so real proud of all these guys, but you know, this was a cool one.
Well, no doubt Jim Hunter would have loved that move, as do all the race fans. But you mentioned Eric Almirola. Was there any thought where you thought this could get a little controversial, and especially talking about where the yellow line was, when you thought what happened last year, him pushing you to the win?
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I mean, I was like, I just want to push him. You know, I got under his back bumper off of 4, and we came to the tri-oval, and my stuff started getting loose because I thought I had Johnny pushing me. And so I kind of steered up a little bit to kind of save it, and then I figured, well, I can't go too high. Johnny's going to go to my bottom, so I had to bring it back down, and I got underneath Eric. And at that point, you know, you just got to stay in the throttle and keep digging. And, you know, I don't even know where the yellow line was, but for as loose as my stuff was through there, I was trying to save it and get away from those guys and not spin out. So all in all, you know, again, great job by these guys. Great Butler seat today. And, you know, everybody with Camping World and all the great folks here, and the fans in the stands was cool, too.
And, Kyle, the owner's title, is this thing not over yet?
It's not over until it's over. It ain't over. So, you know, we've got, I don't know where they are right now, but, you know, we feel comfortable with where we're at. And to win today with our Traxxas Tundra and to go to Homestead with Traxxas on board. And, of course, you know, we're going to have interstate batteries at Texas next week. And then Phoenix is going to be Z-Line Designs again. So it's going to be cool. You know, we're looking forward to these last 4 races, and it's going to be a shootout and a fight to the end.
Well, Kyle, we're getting word unofficially, you're 45 points up on Germain Racing.
Cool. Thank you.
So big smile on his face, and obviously Eric Almirola disappointed That is the closest margin of victory in series history since we have had electronic scoring.
Ever.
Unbelievable finish. And of course, the biggest racetrack we race at.
And they're sideways.
The NASCAR Camping World Truck Series is presented on speed by Dodge. Visit Dodge.com or your local dealer. Brought to you in part by Camping World. Visit Camping World for a sweet deal on pre-owned RVs. They have the largest selection in the country. And by Touch of Gray. Get rid of some gray, never all. Well, and the sun is beginning to set here in Talladega, Alabama. And
I'm beginning to get my breath. I got my breath back.
Let's take a look at our point standings.
Heart rate's about normal, I'd say.
Bodine with a 213-point lead, so a little bit cut into that lead by Eric Almirola, but probably not enough to make Todd Bodine too worried with 3 races still to go. Johnny Sauter, Matt Crafton moves up a spot, and Austin Dillon drops down a spot.
Looking like that top 5 is about making itself defined with Austin Dillon jumping 80-some points ahead of Hornaday.
Let's take a look at tonight's Touch of Gray winning touch moment. Well, of course, it's coming through the tri-oval.
You know, Eric Almirola was very visibly upset about Kyle Busch, and he talked about maybe he went below the yellow line. And he said, you know, I would be severely disappointed, Michael, I think, with Kyle Busch had he not tried to win that race. I know Eric Almirola pushed him to the win last year. They were teammates, but hey, you know, you got to try to win them when you can win them.
Well, that was the Touch of Gray winning touch moment. Touch of Gray gets rid of some gray, never all.
I never thought he wasn't going to try to pass him. I knew for sure he was going to do something at some point. It looked like he's even thinking about getting him loose, like he was moving all around on that tailgate of Almirola, and finally Almirola couldn't hold on to it anymore, and Kyle made the inside. How about winning at Talladega sideways? We saw the same thing at Daytona in February. They went across the line side by side and sideways.
Absolutely.
Adam Alexander is caught up with Matt Crafton, who finished 4th.
A wild day at Talladega. Matt Crafton comes home in the 4th position. Your teammate right in front of you. Talk about your afternoon.
It was awesome. I mean, we rode, and I didn't want to ride, but I got to thank Kyle Busch. I mean, he pushed us up there, led some laps with him, and then we just got to be there at the end. I mean, that's just what you learn. I mean, learn on these. I mean, there's been so many races I've wrecked in the middle of them, wrecked at the end of them, and just I try to learn a little bit throughout the race. And I had some really good trucks that pushed me there at the end, and finally got to 13th bumper, and I couldn't get locked up with him to get him to push the lead. But I got to thank these guys a lot. I mean, this truck was an awesome day. I mean, Menards, Australian Gold, and Chevy. I mean, it was close, but no cigar.
13th consecutive top 10 finish for Matt Crafton.
Well, he never made it through the first lap at Daytona, and today's strategy was go to the back and wait till the end, and it looks like it worked out for ThorSport.
Yeah, we went back about 5,000 times whether we should go to the back on the initial green before we even took the green, and we decided to do that, and just a great weekend for ThorSport all around. FarmPaint.com, Curb Record Chevy was solid. I knew it was yesterday in practice, and we found something yesterday in practice. The 51 got behind me, and we both pulled out to the outside, and we cleared like 8 trucks, and I was like, this is what we need to do. We talked about it today at driver intros, and got to thank Eric Almirola. We would have never been in that position had he not pushed me, but just solid. I mean, Matt and I drafted all day long, and you know, we were able to come home 3rd and 4th. Solid day for ThorSport.
Oh, but just another foot or two for the 13.
Plenty of smiles and well wishes for Ricky Carmichael. Another top 5 finish. 4th top 10 in the last 5 races. Take us through the afternoon.
It was pretty crazy. We got a good qualifying spot, and we rode there, and then I knew after that first caution things were going to shake up. Then we had another green flag run, and I lost a lap due to caution, and then anyhow, it was crazy. I was learning some stuff with like 20 to go, just trying some things, because I'm like, I never seem like I'm learning the draft, you know, because I'm just following. And it was a learning experience. We're really happy for this Monster Energy Chevrolet Turner Motorsports. So we got it going, and hopefully my luck has turned around. You can see I went through that last wreck, so pretty good, really happy. And like I said, all the pieces of the puzzle are getting put together, and just happy to get a top 5.
Late in the season, Carmichael on a roll.
Very impressive for Ricky Carmichael. Again, 6 wins in the 2010 season for that young man, just 25 years old, and he continues to notch his name in the history books of NASCAR. The Mountain Dew 250 presented on Speed by Dodge will wrap up here on Speed in just a moment. It's really hard. You can say that you expect something when you come to a racetrack, but we always expect 2, 3, 4 wide racing when we come to Talladega. We always expect the big one, and we normally expect a great finish, but we got everything and then some in this race.
You said we expected it, and we got it. We got great racing, 3, 4 wide racing, and how about this finish here, Mikey?
For the third year in a row, a last lap pass at Talladega decides this win. Look at Eric Almirola driving that truck, trying to keep it straight. Kyle Busch getting into the side of Almirola and then turning sideways toward the infield. He goes across the start-finish line with that truck out of control.
Remember, we saw Bobby Hamilton win Atlanta one time sideways in a battle with Mike Skinner.
You know, Matt Crafton, by the way, was only 0.129 seconds away from the lead.
Oh, he was way behind.
And he was in 4th in that 88 truck.
Look at Kyle rubbing around on that rear bumper, and that's why we saw Almirola up there in that truck with his hands all over the place. It got him wiggling a little bit, and that opened the door. It almost opened the door for 2 of them to go around him.
Look how sideways Kyle Busch was. He was so sideways, his splitter drugged the racetrack on the left front corner. Look at this view right here. Here's the leader right here, Eric Almirola. Now he's trying to stay down to the yellow line, but Kyle Busch doesn't want him to stay down there.
Watch him, watch his hands. Watch Almirola's hands if you can see him. He goes out of sight, but he's driving the heck out of that truck.
Almirola came up the racetrack just after they came out of the tri-oval, and that opened the door for Kyle Busch.
He had Kyle pushing him, and I think if he would have tried to go to turn to the inside, he may have spun out, Mikey.
Great run for Ricky Carmichael, James Buescher, Austin Dillon, another phenomenal run for that rookie.
Schrader with a great 11th place finish, considering that truck was tore all to pieces when he got in that wreck and still came home 11th.
Todd Bodine coming in, our point leader, a top 20 finish for him after being involved in that big accident, as well as Hornaday on his roof.
What if you're Hornaday? So what happened to Talladega? I finished 21st. Really? Yeah. Flipped. Yeah, we got upside down, but yeah.
Halloween Eve here on Speed, and we had a lot of fun earlier. Our next race, we go to Texas Motor Speedway, the WinStar World Casino 350, and that is a night race from Texas Motor Speedway.
I think I can catch my breath by next Friday night.
Yeah. There's a lot of speed at Texas, though. Speed's fun.
Speed is fun. Over 195 miles an hour were the trucks here, and some were on their roof. But in the end, it was the 18 once again. Kyle Busch, closest margin of victory in the trucks.
Next week, the Camping World Truck Series makes its second trip of the season to the Lone Star State to once again take on the Texas Motor Speedway. Earlier this year, our points leader became a 6-time winner in Texas.
The birdie of Todd Bodine!
Will he continue to dominate and make it lucky number 7? Or will somebody else be wearing the cowboy hat? Chris Devoda hosts the setup starting at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, followed by flag-to-flag coverage, only on Speed.